No track has stood the test of time quite like Martinsville Speedway. Time is even the prize at this track. A grandfather clock awaits the driver who wins today, and at the end of the season, it's the Sprint Cup trophy on the line. Jimmy Johnson now sits more than a race behind the points leader. Is his reign on top over? What about Kevin Harvick after a rough race in Talladega? Can he bounce back at a track he won at earlier this season? 26 points separate the top 5 drivers. Tony Stewart is in 4th, 19 back. And in 2nd, you'll find Matt Kenseth. That is where he will start today's race, next to his teammate and points leader, Carl Edwards. Qualifying was rained out due to rain earlier this weekend, so the grid is set by points. The top 12 drivers will line up 1 through 12. We will also see a competition caution today at lap 40. Lots of activity down on the grid as the drivers await what will come next. They are ready, and so are we, as well as the fans who have packed the stands here. Let's go trackside to get it all started.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Joint Area Public Safety Agencies presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Tony Beach, Associate Pastor of Fort Trial Baptist Church in Stanleytown, Virginia, offers today's invocation.
Let's pray together. Father God, what a wonderful, beautiful day you've given us to enjoy the sport of racing. And God, we're so thankful for this day and this moment that we have to pause and to give you glory. Lord, I pray that your divine protection will be upon the drivers and their crew. Lord, that you would just help us to enjoy a safe and a wonderful race. Thank you again for being the God of all ages. We pray this in the precious holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem today, please welcome from North Carolina, A&T State University, the Blue and Gold Marching Machine.
It's Martinsville Speedway. Drivers now climbing into their cars for race 7 of the chase. And when we come back, 500 laps from Martinsville are coming up.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Martinsville is brought to you by Tums. Fights heartburn fast. Toyota. Papa John's. Earn free pizza fast with double Papa rewards every weekend. Only at papajohns.com. And Sprint, proud sponsor of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Race fans, check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy to watch coverage live from Martinsville. Follow your favorite drivers for free with 8 live camera views. Back at Martinsville Speedway, it's been around for a while, which means the track has had the chance to spread the love a little bit. Rusty Wallace leads the way within our ESPN family with 7 wins, including his final career win here in 2004. Next on our list is Tim Brewer, 4 wins at this particular track. Dale Jarrett, also a winner here in that 88 car. He won once. And Andy Petrie, again in the crew chief role, is a 2-time winner at this track, which means, Alan Bestwick, as we head upstairs to the booth, that just means you are surrounded by greatness.
I'm just going to dress up as a Martinsville winner for Halloween. How's that?
Congratulations.
There you go.
Where's
Thank
the
you.
clock?
yeah, I'd love to have one. Nicole, thanks. Dale, Andy, this racetrack is going to be quite a change of pace for the drivers, from the big wide open spaces of Talladega to the tight confines of this little bull ring. And you think we're going to see some extra bumping and banging and spinning today than what we already see here. Why?
Well, I think there's been a long season. This race is later in the season than it's ever been before. These guys are running short on patience, and that's a word that we hear a lot here to try to get through 500 laps that you really need. But I think that word patience is going to be in very short supply with these drivers here today. They're looking with different agendas to get to the front, do what they have to do, and that may mean ruffle some feathers, running into each other quite a bit. It's going to be quite an entertaining show, and I don't think that teammates will be out of the question of having a little of that activity among themselves too.
Yeah, teammates racing for a championship in the confines of a short track adds an added little dimension to the fenders we might see wrinkled up today. Now, Andy, from the crew chief's perspective, 3 main points you think that they'll be focusing on for the race today: strategy, watching how much their driver abuses the car here, and then deciphering what the driver says. Explain that.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of strategies play out today because we're going to have so many of these cautions that Dale's talking about with these timbers running short. So what you're going to see is maybe some split strategies. You'll see a caution come after, say, 20, 25 laps. Half the field will pit, half stays out. Next time they run another 20 laps, you're going to see the opposite. So we're going to see a lot of that. It's going to mix the field up, make it real exciting for us.
Monitoring how much the driver abuses his car.
Yeah, you get to really look at the car as a crew chief here because you're so close to the racetrack, and you can see how much the driver really is pushing the car, how much he's using to get to the front, and you can make a marker on the wall, see how far he's driving it in the corner, and then you can coach your driver to maybe save a little bit because you can use your car up here before the end of the race.
And a driver will say a lot of things on the radio over the course of a run between pit stops. You want the first thing he says?
Yeah, well, because you can spin the tires no matter where around this racetrack. I don't care how your car's handling, so you want to fix what's happening first before it starts spinning the tire.
Take that first bit of feedback and run with it. Right now, the words we've been waiting for all day at Martinsville.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, here to give the command to start engines for today's Tums Fast Relief 500, welcome the winner of Martinsville Speedway's Tums Sweepstakes, Ashley Young.
On behalf of today's sponsor, Tums to Tums, Tums, Tums. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Fired up whenever you're ready. All right. So we get to the 88 pit box. They need to probably help me with that. 10-4.
So we're set to go racing at Martinsville. Carl Edwards, the championship leader, has pole position by virtue of qualifying being rained out. He's our in-race reporter. We'll talk with Carl on the pace laps when we come back.
I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough.
Gorgeous October day at Martinsville Speedway as we get set to go racing for 500 laps. You look at the starting lineup coming across the top of your screen. Lined up according to points, basically, because qualifying was rained out. So Carl Edwards, who has only one top 5 finish here at Martinsville, is going to start on the pole at a race he said coming in made him a little bit nervous where the championship is concerned. Our Gillette Pro Glide profile as the rest of the starting lineup goes across the top of the screen. Look at Carl's numbers at the other short tracks on the Sprint Cup circuit on the right compared with Martinsville. He's done better at the others. Skeptic or believer about this pole position helping him today?
Well, I think that's the key, Alan. Starting up front here is a big factor in having a good day, and he may change those numbers a little bit.
All right, as Carl leads this field out onto the paper clip, let's talk to him. He's our in-race reporter for today here in Martinsville.
Carl, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Got you, Dale.
Hey, thanks for talking with us. Our first question comes from our mailbag, and Jackson in Midlothian, Virginia asked, do you feel any pressure to win in these last 4 races, or does your 14-point lead provide you with enough of a cushion to not push yourself for one?
Well, that's a good question. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. You know, a 14-point lead can go away in an instant, so I know how good these guys are that are chasing me, and what we've got to do as a team is just go out and get every point we can, and we're going for wins these last 4 races.
Hey, Carl, limited practice time, a new, softer right side tire. Strategies we've seen here in the past, could they be quite a bit different today? May need more tires?
I think that's a really good question. I think that the staying out on tires, I think it's going to be harder to do today. I think Goodyear brought a tire that falls off a little bit more, which is better for racing, better for passing in the fans. I don't envy Bob Osborne's position or any of these crew chiefs on pit road. It's going to be really tough to make those calls.
All right, Carl, thanks for talking with us. You have a fun 500 laps here today, and we'll be talking to you later on.
All right, holler at me anytime. Thanks for having me.
Championship leader Carl Edwards, our in-race reporter today here in Martinsville. Going to get awfully loud down on the pit lane in just a moment, so while it's not quite at shouting level, let's get some final stories from pit road before the green. Here's Mike Massaro.
Alan, after 6 chase races, the 48 teams dynasty is definitely in jeopardy. But is it over? That's a question many people are pondering. Ask Jimmy Johnson, though, and he'll tell you if they're mathematically still alive, he'll still have hope. Johnson said this weekend he will fight as hard as he possibly can for every race win in the Final Four to collect as many points as possible. Today certainly marks an opportunity. For them to overcome their 50-point deficit, however, they need to capitalize this afternoon at a track where they've won 6 times. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Mike, the Cinderella story in this year's chase is the kid, Brad Keselowski. Now, no one expected him to even be in the chase. As of July, they were 23rd in the point standings, but right now today, they are 3rd overall in the points, just 18 points back of Carl Edwards. Now, hardly anyone expects him to be a threat today. However, the last time these cars were on a tight, short track at Bristol, Tennessee in August, it was Brad Kay who went to victory lane. And oh yeah, that Cinderella fairy tale I mentioned had a very happy ending. Jamie Little.
Well, the last race here back in April, Kevin Harvick started out so bad, they actually went 1 lap down. Well, the team never gave up. They fought their way all the way back to victory lane. Their first win here. His crew chief, Gil Martin, told me this morning he expects a lot of the same. Start out not so good, end up in victory lane. Dave Burns.
Kyle Busch is not out of the championship yet, and in April they had one of the fastest cars here. But with that new tire combination we've been talking about, crew chief Dave Rogers told me he's not sure what they've got today. He told me we'll either be bad to the bone or we'll be just plain bad. We'll monitor Kyle's badness today, Alan.
I think he's hoping for that bad to the bone aspect of that, Dave. Kyle carrying one of our 9 high-definition onboard cameras for today's race. We've got 8 with chase drivers, including the top 7 in the championship. We've got the top 3 finishers from the April race here carrying cameras, and we've even got last weekend's winner at Talladega, Clint Boyer, carrying a camera for us. So we've got some great views to ride throughout the bump and grind here at Martinsville. Tight pit road here at Martinsville. Mark Hollywood Armstrong with Dave Blaney's team is our over-the-wall reporter today. This is the toughest pit road on the circuit, Hollywood?
Most definitely. Some pit roads you go to challenge individuals. This pit road here today will challenge the whole team. You'll see that unfold here today, and it could affect the outcome of the race, guys.
Hollywood, have a great day down there. And pit road will be such a crucial factor in determining the outcome of today's race. 4 races to go in the championship. Brad Keselowski lined up 3rd for this race, trying to win a championship over these final 4 races, and his team owner, Mr. Roger Penske, on the radio a second ago.
Paul and Brad down there, you guys done a great job here getting us this far. Let's same MO and smart races, smart pit stops, and just keep giving these guys hell. Good work down there, Brad.
Thank you, boss. Thanks for giving us all this opportunity. Do our best to bring home the big picture for you.
Interesting spot for that young man to be in, but as we heard on NASCAR Countdown, he's not giving anything up to anyone.
Not backing down from anybody or anything right now. Loves this challenge.
The young man being the driver, of course, for Roger Penske, who is high atop the spotter stand, getting ready to watch this race begin. 500 laps on the smallest track on the circuit. It's far from the easiest track. A difficult grind ahead for these drivers. How will it play into the championship? The green flag is out. bonus point toward the championship to Matt Kenseth, who led that first lap. A little smoke boiling from Tony Stewart's car as he was under braking in turn 1.
Carl Edwards still battling hard. He wants that bonus point here before anything else starts happening.
Like Matt will keep from letting him get that point. Pretty strong on the outside for Matt Kenseth to take the lead right away.
And I think this new tire that they have here on the right side has a lot to do with them being able to run on the outside.
Did you see Carl Edwards literally carried the left front wheel off of turn 2?
He might get it this time.
No, not quite. Remember, 1 bonus point for leading a lap during a race, a point for leading the most laps during the race, and in a championship where things are so close, each point could make a difference.
You can see that left front tire, I'm coming off the ground on that 99 car. These cars are running really soft springs to try to hook these rear tires up. Looks like he's going to get that point now. Gets by Matt Kenseth.
There, we led that one.
Tony Stewart. Big run to the inside, trying to keep Kenseth to the outside.
You can see Matt trying to get to the inside, into the wall a little bit for the 17 right there. A little contact with Tony Stewart. That outside's only going to work for a certain number of laps on these fresh tires, on these restarts. Then you want to get back down in line. Bottom is the fastest way around here.
Keselowski, then the Busch brothers side by side behind him. Kyle inside in the 18, Kurt outside in the 22. This the race for second. Tony Stewart in the 14 had such a lousy race here. Back in April, the race he had here last October was lousy for this 14 if he's going to be a factor in this championship. Agree or disagree, but he's got to get through today with a good finish.
Now, I think he definitely has to get through today with a good finish, and he's out there driving right now, driving extremely hard up here in traffic with a setup he really wasn't sure what to expect from it because they made a lot of changes to this 14 car.
Trouble in turn 1. Kurt Busch around, and look at that. Denny Hamlin, whole track, half the track anyway, is blocked, and the field stopped behind him.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon got a small piece of that. I don't think he's got much damage, though.
That's Mike Skinner, 37 car. There's Junior, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Burton.
It's a big mess down there. Big mess.
Parking lot for a minute. So first caution out in the race. It took just 8 laps to happen. Remember that Kurt and Kyle Busch were racing side by side for the 5th position just a couple of laps before.
As they get down into 1, you can see Dale Jr. just didn't have enough room, ran up over that pink curbing that's down on the inside now. That threw him up into the 22 of Kurt Busch.
It looked like Junior was doing all he could to stay off of Kurt Busch. Drives down. Yeah, he's just not quite up far enough.
Hold the brakes. Just stay up there. Don't come down. Don't come down. Don't come down. Do not come down.
Denny Hamlin ends up sideways. Allmendinger, Burton. It's a unique feature of this racetrack in Martinsville, that curb on the inside of the corners.
Yeah, and it creates havoc just like that throughout the day. It's something that actually a driver going in there that maybe just got past can kind of use it to their advantage to keep a car from getting up beside him. There's more damage on Jeff Gordon's car than I first thought. Jamie?
And the 24, Jeff Gordon in the 88 is coming as well. You see him working on the right front of that 24 car. Quite a bit of damage there for Jeff Gordon. Obviously not the way they wanted to start out. And the 88, they're going to check the damage as well and put some tires on. See them working on the splitter and separated from the body of the car. So they're going to keep working on it here, try to hang in here and try to salvage some points the best they can.
Well, Jeff Gordon caught up in the first caution of the race. Came out just 7 laps in after Dale Jr. hopped the curb and collected Kurt Busch. Martinsville Speedway in South Central Virginia, where they've been having NASCAR races since 1949. Today, the 126th race for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series under its first caution. Make sure to stay tuned for our NASCAR nonstop coverage in the second half of today's race, presented by AT&T. So, first caution was a race for 7th place when Dale Jr. and Kurt Busch got together. A bunch of cars collected in the aftermath, including Jeff Gordon, with some damage around that right front grille opening that you see there. Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage can tell us why that's so critical to get fixed. Tim?
AB here at Martinsville. I don't care if you knock the fenders off my car, but please do not damage my brake ducts, because you've got to conduct this airflow through here. We've got fans setting behind the opening right here. We're going to conduct them over to this area. We're trying to cool the brakes as well as the sidewalls of the tires, because once that air pressure builds up, the car's not going to turn in the center. But please protect my brake ducts.
Looks like they've done a pretty decent job of fixing the front end of Jeff's car. Jamie?
Well, they have. They've worked on it. They've come in 4 times, believe it or not, and the last time they took right side tires. So they're keeping their fingers crossed. Alan Gustafson was down here on pit wall looking at the damage, but they think all is going to be all right.
Okay, Jamie, thanks. So Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon on pit road, as well as 78 car Regan Smith under this caution. So they're all toward the back of the field. And a lot of cleanup being done from where the looked like the radiator of the 37 car was punched out in the accordion after that accident. Extended cleanup early in the Tums Fast Release 500 here at Martinsville. The Grandfather Clock Trophy on the line today here at Martinsville Speedway, where rugged racing is the name of the game, and it got rugged early in this one, as a crash just 7 laps in has collected 4 of the drivers in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup and sent some for rather significant repairs. Mike Skinner in that 37 with some heavy damage on his car, and the drivers highlighted the 4 chasers involved. Jeff Gordon has made several now stops on pit road, as well as Dale Jr. with a couple. Dale Jr. recounting what happened a moment ago on his team radio.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I mean, I was trying to take that spot. He kind of crammed me down. I hit the apron, or the curve first before I hit him. I think just closed it up real fast on me. That's all right, bud. Man, that's what this day is going to be all about, man. It's going to be a whole lot of taking today. So we're just going to get patient. We got a good enough car. We got all kinds of laps. So we'll work our way back through there.
After his trips to pit road, Dale Jr. showing all the way back in 31st place, but he pitted before the pit lane was open, so that's him dropping to the back end of the field for this restart. Denny Hamlin was on pit road when it was open, Dave.
He was, Alan. They took on 4 tires, of course, did not add fuel to the car at this point. They also put some bare bond or some tape over the left front part of the upper bumper. Mike Ford feeling that was more important than this rear bumper you see here. They really didn't worry about that too much, nor the bending of the hood just a little bit. It was the left front just above. Here you see the black tape right there that was the biggest concern. Get that stopped up.
And like Brewer said, don't block my brake ducts. All right, so Denny Hamlin as well back deep in the pack for this restart. Still another lap away from the restart, as NASCAR had some cleanup vehicles out of the speedway and was also repositioning some of the cars that pitted before the pit road was officially open to the tail end of the field. How about Kevin Harvick, Jamie?
Only 20 laps in, and already he and Gil Martin, his crew chief, talking strategy.
Caution laps here, Gil. Just think about what we talked about earlier. Yeah, simple. Gotta decide which side. Well, the only thing I can go off of is what I looked at yesterday, and you know what that was. All we got to go off of, that's what we need to do then.
And that was Gil Martin that you watched there, talking to the tire guys and making his way back up the pit box. They're trying to decide, do we take left sides only, or do we take right sides only? Interesting.
Yeah, we saw a lot of tire wear yesterday in practice. Expect that to get a lot better as the race goes on, but still early.
Time to go. Green flag in this restart presented by American Ethanol. Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. Edwards clears. Stewart slides in to try and block Matt Kenseth in that 17 from making a move.
Well, having to line up on that outside lane today could be something that costs you 2, 3, maybe even 5 or 6 spots before you're going to be able to get back in line.
Yeah, especially after that caution we just had. We had a lot of mess down in turn 1 and 2. Really hard for Tony to get any grip coming off turn 2.
Brad Keselowski in the 2 caught in that outside line now. Kyle Busch goes by him in the 18. There's Jimmy Johnson jumping to his inside in the 48.
You know, Johnson's record here is outstanding, and he was that yesterday in practice also. A lot of people pointing to 48 as the car to beat today.
So Keselowski kicked back now to 6th position, gets in line ahead of Greg Biffle in 7th.
You see Kevin Harvick there, almost got into the wall coming off of turn 2. That opened the door for Ryan Newman in the 39 to try to take advantage. Here comes A.J. Allmendinger on a part of that.
This track's so deceiving because you have to get out of the gas and onto the brake far enough back on the straightaway to get yourself slowed down. There's Kyle Busch rolls forward a little bit. It's to see, and it's got to be frustrating from the driver's seat because you just start to get that fender to the inside of the guy, and oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, time to get out of the throttle because you know if you drive any further than that, you're going to create a bad situation for yourself and probably whoever you're racing. So it's a day, again, of patience, just letting your car do the work. That's the key thing.
Kenseth now able to get back in line. Trouble, turn 3. Dave Blaney, 36, was first around, and then this other with Regan Smith and Brian Vickers, 78 and 83, was in the jam-up of everybody stomping that brake pedal.
Brian Vickers has been kind of the victim twice of that very thing. Not involved in the first incident, but as he slowed down.
There was a lot of heavy racing going on behind this incident, and so everybody was trying to dive inside of each other going in turn 3, and then this wreck happened. I looked ahead and saw, I think it was Blaney that was just spun around there.
Yep, Blaney and Jamie McMurray were racing for 19th spot, and one of them ended up facing the wrong way on the racetrack.
You can just see how things got jammed up. Blaney got out, and the one of Jamie McMurray just ran all over him there. So
I'm going to throw a little wrinkle on that one at you, Dale. If we see that again, watch Joey Logano in the 20 and see if he didn't push McMurray into Blaney.
Yeah, and then you can see Brian Vickers, he had already committed heavily to get into turn 3 and ended up getting into Regan Smith and getting airborne.
Yeah, Smith had damage in that first incident also, so once you get back there, it makes it tough.
The curbing here at Martinsville Speedway, we talked about a little bit ago, painted pink, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, and the Speedway doing its part to raise awareness of that cause.
Yeah, it looks small and doesn't look like it should affect you a whole lot, but it could be the biggest thing about this whole track today. Understand that Jeff Gordon's having some overheating problems, Jamie.
He is. He avoided more issues there. However, he said everything is flashing red. We are overheating. So they're going to hang here as this is going to be the competition caution, and they'll come in and see if they can help things out. He says the car's really tight now as well.
Probably be the driver included overheating there. Might be flashing some red there too.
All right, when pit road is opened, this will serve as the competition caution. About 10 laps earlier than NASCAR was planning to throw one, but already under the second yellow. So when the pit road is opened, the next time the pace car passes that back straightaway entrance to pit lane, we'll probably see all the front runners come in. Question is, what are they going to do while they're there?
Well, that's the thing. They've not had a lot of green flag racing so far, so the tires don't have a ton of wear. This is a good move by NASCAR, though, not to go for another 10 laps and have another caution. Go ahead and get this thing out of the way.
The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award is determined by the winner of each race, the fastest pit time, and you, the fans, vote. Text the car number to 234567 of your pit crew choice.
You'd have to think that maybe Dale Jr. and some of those involved in that first one, Denny Hamlin, might not pit at all here.
Now, they weren't able to add fuel.
That's okay, though. Yeah. I still think I'd stay out. I understand what you're saying, and they won't be able to add fuel. Looks like, oh, man, a lot of them are staying out.
The end of that white line, that's what serves as the commitment cone here at Martinsville. Once you touch your left side tires of that line, you must come to pit road.
And Greg Biffle was close to not getting his left sides on there. We'll see.
So, look at the split strategy here, just like you were talking about, Andy.
Yeah, just not enough laps for everybody to just be, a no-brainer to change tires, so a lot of them will stay out. Jamie?
Well, you guys, I sent that report that the 29 was debating whether to take left or right side tires. We never see this in NASCAR. Left side's only, almost collided with the 16, and he gets out with some drama. Dave Burns?
Well, Jamie, Carl Edwards gives up that beautiful lead at the front of the pack. He takes on 4 tires. They make a slight air pressure adjustment for the car that was just a little bit hard to turn in the center of the corner, but wow, an early strategy session to bring him to pit road, guys.
I guess. So half the field doesn't pit. The field that does, a lot of them do different things. No pattern here to the early going of this one other than the chaos we expected to see. Tony Stewart, bonus point for leading a lap right there. He's out in front by not pitting. Race fans, check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy to watch coverage live from Martinsville. Follow your favorite drivers for free with 8 live camera views. Carl Edwards on pole for the beginning of the race. Now going to find himself back in 13th spot.
That's fine. We got our points. We got a lot of laps on these guys. If it goes green, this is a good spot to be in.
Yeah, not worried about it here. Not worried about it, bud. I'll let you know where you're at.
As we go back racing, it is Stewart and Kyle Busch, 14 and 18, side by side for the lead. Top 8 drivers have not visited pit road yet in this race. Next few were on pit road under the first caution earlier. Greg Biffle restarted in 14th. He was the first guy off this round of pit stops on that restart.
Kyle Busch looked like the last run that we had, as short as it was, with the more laps that he put on, his car seemed to be the best. Really good drive up off the corner. See if he can get by Tony Stewart here shortly. And he was a factor in the race earlier here this year.
Andy, I guess I'll call it pep talk by Carl Edwards back to his race team. You agree with them being okay where they are?
Yeah, as long as they don't get into any kind of a, scuff up here with all these cars that they're around. But, being out front was really nice, a nice luxury to be leading laps and not having to use a lot of car. I like the strategy if it goes green for a while, because he will have a little better tires at the end of it. He can run a little bit longer and let the other people kind of dictate strategy.
Look out, little bottleneck there off the corner. And up front, Kyle Busch to the bottom of Tony Stewart and by.
That's pretty smart by Tony, just to let Kyle go on instead of trying to make him push his car harder than he really needs to go right now.
Yeah, that's when you get in trouble. You heat up the brakes, like Tim Brewer was talking about, and then you also put yourself in a very vulnerable position of possibly getting hit and spun.
Brad Keselowski in the 2, caught on that outside lane again. Denny Hamlin in the 11 by, Jeff Burton in the 31, going to get by. Here's the Biff in the 16.
I think we're starting to see that tires are going to make some difference here at this racetrack with this new right side tires. A lot of unknowns about it because of the limited amount of practice that they got.
We're seeing Harvick. He just took left side tires. He's able to drive up through there pretty well. Carl Edwards, on the other hand, took 4 tires. He just lost a spot to Dale Jr. He's actually going backwards.
So Kyle Busch goes out in front of this event. The man who led the opening laps of this race, Carl Edwards, we heard him just a minute ago before the restart. Well, he just got shuffled and lost a couple of spots there. Jeff Gordon got up underneath him, and Gordon and Dale Jr. have gotten by.
It is amazing at this racetrack how different your race car will drive. And I'm not talking about aero here. I'm just talking about you get back in traffic, trying to make passes, the things that you do different, and trying to make speed and make a pass, and it shows you a whole other side of your race car.
Up ahead, Denny Hamlin. Might call him Mr. Martinsville, certainly of late. Working on Kurt Busch in the 22 to get a spot. That's for 6th position. And now going after Matt Kenseth for the 5th spot.
A.J. Allmendinger just took 2nd spot away from Tony Stewart.
And Petty 43 has gone to victory lane here at Martinsville many, many times. would be kind of a surprise to see it in victory lane here today. This has not been a track that AJ has posted the best of numbers.
Hold your brake. Get it going if you can. Leaders into 3.
Should we call that the early hat trick?
Fired up, get it rolling here.
3 cautions, and Brian Vickers has been facing the wrong way on the racetrack after all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's not the kind of day that you're looking for when you get this started, realizing you've only got 450 laps to go.
I've seen it go like that for years and then get worse.
Ryan was 28th. Damage to Montoya's car, left front and left rear.
There'll be very few that we see today that won't have some type of damage like that. See right here, like Vickers was trying to get in there and let his car roll. Just couldn't keep it on the bottom. Got into Montoya, who was okay after that, but Vickers will probably just be back to pit road for some more tires and try it again. Maybe tighten it up a little bit.
Oh, when it goes bad, it just goes bad here.
Yeah, I was just thinking, this is a long race for a driver behind the wheel. And when you've been facing the wrong way on the racetrack 3 times already, and we're not even at 50 laps yet, that is going to be a long day. Not many takers on pit road here, but a couple of interesting ones. Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Jeff Gordon coming in. Jamie?
If my addition is right, this will be the 7th stop already today for Jeff Gordon. Of course, being involved early, right front damage. They've done a great job repairing that. He was overheating, but he says so far the car is okay, Doc.
And initially the 2 cars said that he had great drive off, but it was getting tight in the middle, and he said, I've lost the drive off, and it's even tighter in the middle, and 2/3 of the way through, so a chassis adjustment and 4 tires. Dave.
Kurt Busch already leaving pit road. This is just the first stop for him in the yellow 22. It was a 4-tire change with a slight air pressure adjustment. Kurt saying loose, transitioning from the concrete to the asphalt. We do have both here at the Martinsville Speedway.
So as Kurt comes back onto the racing surface, still have 5 drivers who haven't hit pit road yet at all in this race.
Yeah, I know we were talking about split strategies when we came on the air, but this is 3 different schedules now we're seeing and 3 different sets of strategies.
Regan Smith accelerating around the field because he was the first car a lap down, and he gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. So Smith now back on the lead lap. 38th place with that somewhat battered race car already.
Yeah, it's a good thing something's happened to him that's been pretty good here early on. That'd be the first thing for him today. Maybe he's got more coming. Not lucky dogs, but more good things.
Martinsville always brings out the emotions in a driver from behind the wheel. This on Kurt Busch's radio a minute ago.
I must be the slowest car on corner exit because everybody wants to time ball us like it's a road course race getting into the corners. A little loose, transitioning from concrete to asphalt. Yeah, should have pitted last time. Just take more authority, Steve. Tell me what I got to do. I hate this racetrack.
All right, man. That's all right. Calm down. We'll be fine here.
Well, should have had Rusty Wallace to talk to him and get a better attitude for him, tell him what he needs there. I think that would help him a lot.
Yeah. It's a long, difficult day behind the wheel.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
This is such a, the motors in these cars make so much power, and the track is so short that you just can't hardly hook the tires up, even on the straightaway, just like he was saying.
Kurt Busch, a former winner here at Martinsville, has done pretty well here, but by Kurt's standards, probably not nearly well enough. Right now he's going to find himself 27th on this restart. His brother Kyle with A.J. Allmendinger alongside, racing for the lead. Allmendinger hanging tough on the outside while Tony Stewart hopes he can trap that 43 in the outside lane and slide by into second spot. How about the 14? He hasn't pitted yet, Doc.
Indeed, he hasn't, and Tony was talking about the car has gotten very, very tight middle, and right there up off, he said, I am shearing the right front, shuttering the right front, really abusing the right front tire. That's why he did not give any kind of competition at all to the 18 or 43 and let them go by. He's trying to take care of his tires and trying to maintain some track position, but hopefully not too long at the expense of that right front tire, guys.
All right, thanks, Kenseth. Up in that outside lane, Kevin Harvick, 29, goes by him. Here comes Casey Kane in the 4. Kenseth getting nudged out of the 8th spot there, while up front, new leader, A.J. Allmendinger in the 43.
I'm going to tell you, that 43 car looks really stout today.
Yeah, it looked like the king driving that thing right now.
He's feeling like one right now.
And for second spot, Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. Didn't we see him sitting sideways on that caution at lap 7?
You know, you can win this race today with a beat-up race car. Everybody's probably going to be a part of some type of incident here, but this man is just so good here. It's going to take a lot more than just sitting sideways to keep him down today.
Denny Hamlin going to the front at this racetrack should be no surprise. He was 30th at the restart after the first caution. Gained some track position by not stopping, and some of the others did, right? But look at that scoring serial on Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, but he's also passed quite a few.
He passed quite a few yesterday, too. He won the truck race.
Yeah, he's just so good here. His style is just unbelievable how he adapted to this racetrack. Mike Ford likes his style, Dave.
He sure does. And DJ, remember earlier this year at Richmond when these guys got bit early in the race, the last one before the chase started. It was on lap 8. They got into someone else's mess. They stayed on the car all day long. They helped Denny throughout the night, and they ended up finishing 8th. Well, similar today, lap 8, they got in trouble, but they stayed out the last couple of times, and now they've driven back to the front. Remember, he's only a 4-time winner here.
Yeah, and 4 of the last 7 for Denny Hamlin, and now he's second and trying to chase down A.J. Allmendinger. Let's go back and check on our championship leader, Carl Edwards. He's running 13th. He is trying to get 12th spot away from Dale Earnhardt Jr., who himself is bottled up behind a little double-wide race in front of him. That's Matt Kenseth, the junior's underneath, racing for a spot there.
Yeah, these two have been racing hard for this spot. I'm speaking of the 99 and the 88 of Junior, and had a little contact a little while ago.
You're all clear, by half.
You can see Carl was committed to diving down in there while Junior was on the outside, who tried to come take that spot
Stay
back.
smart. Stay smart now. That's 88 to just lay off a little bit, man. He's going to get wrecked. You can't race like that. 10-4. 10-4.
Oh, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to tell you can't race like that because, you know, Juniors, I think, looks at this today as an opportunity race. He liked his car, and he needs to win a race, so he's going to drive hard all day.
He's driving away from Carl right now.
And a new leader at the front of the field as Denny Hamlin slides around A.J. Allmendinger in the 43. That could be bad news for this field. That 11 car out in front, 63 laps into this race.
He's got about 17 lap fresher tires than the 43 does right now.
It's just a matter of time.
Obviously, that was a couple of laps before he took the lead. So Hamlin in front of the Tums Fast Release 500 at Martinsville. A pretty rugged opening segment of the race, but the Virginia native is charged to the front. Under caution here at Martinsville for a 4th time. Turn 2 was the trouble spot. The principal involved was David Ruderman, who was running 25th at the time and went for essentially what was a flying 360 in the corner with a stop in the middle. David has gotten going before the leaders bypassed him, and here's a look. That's Marcos Ambrose in the 9.
Yep, that's a little loose.
Yep,
corrects it.
Either that or he got into him on purpose. I couldn't tell exactly. It looked like he turned the wheels to the right.
John Force would be proud of that, though, wouldn't he?
Burnout there.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say in the countdown show that the tempers were going to be running thin and the patience were to be thin today. It's like they were right. Here they come down pit road, some of the leaders that haven't pitted yet.
Ryan Newman was the first car that stayed out. Looks like most everybody at the front of the field is going to come in. Jimmy Johnson coming to Mike Massaro.
And Alan, he's had several opportunities to hit pit road this afternoon, but so far this is his first visit. He's saying the car is loose center and loose off. They'll make a track bar adjustment, also a 4-tire call being made by Chad Knaus to get that car a little bit snugged up, Doc.
Tony Stewart, first pit stop of the day, said it is tight in the middle. He is battling it up all 4 tires. They will make a track bar adjustment in the right rear. Dave.
The 2 teammates on the right, they give up first and third, top to bottom. Both cars are loose. Both will get a track bar and an air pressure adjustment.
Carl Edwards, championship leader, still there. Now heading back out onto the racetrack. Going to be about a dozen cars that did not stop. All these guys coming off pit lane are going to be behind them when we go back racing at Martinsville in a minute. Another split strategy pit stop session here in our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Martinsville. Race 7 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. And this tight pit road a moment ago, Tony Stewart had a moment.
Probably won't be the last time we see this happening today. You see he's finished his, trying to get out. A little contact.
Kevin Harvick alongside him, and Harvick's not going to just stop and let him in line. Nope. Ryan Newman leading at the restart, 39. David Reagan muscling his way in that 6 to the inside of Dale Jr. in the 88. Jeff Burton was the first one off pit road on the stops. He restarted in 13th place, so a dozen cars not coming to pit road this time. That top of the screen scoring scroll, and get back through that first dozen.
Junior, a little contact into the back of the 6 car, David Reagan. Maybe even more time to get to turn 3.
He's not done with him yet.
There we go. Excuse me, I'm coming through.
May not be done with him yet either.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
It's like neither one of them are done.
Did I use the term muscled before?
Did we say something about patience?
The lack thereof.
And paybacks. Now, here we go again.
And a payback for the payback.
Yep.
And this is at the front of the field. They
Yep.
could do a lot if these two don't settle this issue before long.
And if they get knocked around in front of the field, a whole lot of people with a lot at stake behind them could get swept up in a chain reaction.
There's your bumper. You're clear. You're clear.
Well, Junior didn't quite get through the center of the corner, but Reagan not able to get through. And look at the gap that Ryan Newman has opened. Back to second place. Brian Vickers didn't pit under that caution in that 83 car, and although he's been sideways 3 times in this race, he's up inside the top 10.
That's unbelievable.
We just thought last week was crazy at Talladega, where you could go from the front to the back to the middle.
Yeah.
This might be a good one to hang in the back.
Kevin Harvick under Brad Keselowski. Keselowski not stopping on that last caution. And maybe seeing the effects of these guys coming by him with fresher tires. Mike?
Yeah, Alan, you know, if you watched the 48's pit strategy today, you might have been scratching your head as to why they haven't come down pit road. I've only got one theory, and that's based upon a conversation I had with Jimmy before the race started. He told me during practice they were a little bit alarmed by the fall off they saw with the tire. They said it fell off 3 to 4 tenths after about 15 laps. They were concerned until they looked at Lap Tracker and realized that's a lot better than the majority of the competition. They're feeling pretty good about their tire wear and feel like if given the opportunity, they can stay out and take advantage of the track position.
All right, Mike, thanks. So Johnson there in the 48, running in 15th spot, just ahead of Kyle Busch. David Reagan with a let Montoya go move there, and there's Kurt Busch in the 22, racing for a spot with Casey Mears in the 13.
Okay, he just got shuffled out of line here. This might be tough for him to get back down to the bottom. There's a line of cars behind these two cars running side by side.
Yeah, I thought after that last caution previous that Kurt Busch had come in when a lot of others didn't, got tires. He was making his way back up through, but I think that was just a product of having fresher tires. Doesn't really look like they've helped his race car.
And being hung in that outside lane could last for a while here.
Now there's Gordon. Damage on the right front of his. Looks like they've got it repaired. And 7-time winner at this racetrack.
He was back in 34th after being caught up in the lap 7 wreck. He's back in the top 10. Look at him fanning out here.
And that was a protected move right there by McMurray, just to make sure that Allmendinger didn't try to stick his nose in there and hang him out.
Yeah, he wanted to be the first one down there to dive bomb Kurt Busch, as we heard Kurt talking about everybody trying to get to him, getting into the corner.
So at what point does the guy being blocked, and that's what it is, blocking.
Yep.
At what point does the guy being blocked say, okay, you've crossed the line there, I've had enough?
Yeah, we've got a few more laps probably before the majority of them, but you get up after lap about 300, then you get kind of tired of that.
Yeah.
You'll take exception.
4 cautions already. Tony Stewart trying to pick his way back through after stopping under that last yellow. Ryan Newman, the race leader, still pretty early at Martinsville. Caution flags out again. That's not the first impact for Jamie McMurray's car under this very brief yellow flag period so far, but you can see Jamie walking away from the car after a very hard hit that set off, well, let's just go show you. Easier to show you than to explain the whole thing. McMurray and Brian Vickers here, 1 and 83, going down into turn 3.
Well, I'm going to give Brian Vickers the benefit that he got a little loose right there.
Hard shot for McMurray there.
You might give him the benefit, but I'm not sure McMurray's going to.
His wheels are right, and he had his brakes locked up, so all of that combined.
It's a big hit for Jamie. Listen to this. So as McMurray starts to drive away from the accident scene, he leaves some things behind.
Looks like
those are the batteries from his car.
Yep,
now laying on the racetrack. And then when Vickers comes by, McMurray, well, I know baseball season just ended, but we'll call that a swing and a miss.
For sure.
Well,
didn't really miss.
Well, how about a foul ball then?
Yeah.
What'd you call it, Dale? A change-up?
Yeah, he was expecting a change-up and got the fastball there, so.
I don't have any power, just so you know. Your battery's on the ground up here.
Yeah, that might be why, right there.
Oh, boy. So, a boil over. Still early at Martinsville. Plenty of time to go. And the 5th caution flag already, and we're still shy of 100 laps. Some cars pitted on pit road. The top 21 as they run on the racetrack now stayed out. Some of those who pitted: Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., David Reagan, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Kane, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth, Vickers, and I wrote Kane's number down twice, so I won't say his name again.
But then you just did.
So, chaos, little mayhem, and a change-up and a foul ball. A couple days after the World Series here in Martinsville.
Welcome back to the Paperclip. It is Martinsville Speedway. We've completed now 93 laps, and we are currently working our 5th caution of the day. Pit crews have been very busy so far, and time for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year Award. Kevin Harvick is currently in the lead, but you can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 234-567 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable. So far, one of the more valuable pit crews has been the crew of Denny Hamlin, involved in a very early accident. But right now, Brad, Hamlin is running in 6th.
Yeah, what you have to be able to do is to manage any type of damage you have on your race car. You're not necessarily going to have time to fix things, but just manage those areas. And Denny's team has done it excellently, and it's put him up front. And anyone who's up front, you have to work extremely hard to maintain that track position because there's so much attrition back in the field.
One of the things we talked about on Countdown, when a driver has success at this track, it's they have the feel of the car. They're being pulled around the track with the left front as opposed to being pushed around the track with the right front. One driver who maybe doesn't have the feel today, that could be Brian Vickers.
Yeah, I don't think Brian's got the feel right now. He's been in a couple of incidents, just wrong place, wrong time, and looks like his race car is a little bit out of skew and he's having a tough time. But he's been beating around pretty hard. That car's pretty torn up.
Beating some other people up pretty good. In fact, he got into
Doesn't
the one
have the
car.
feel.
David McMurray, Tim Brewer's downstairs in the Craftsman Tech Garage. I know you've seen a lot of things in your career, but have you ever seen a battery fall out of a car?
No, Nicole, I've never seen that because right here is where the battery's located, behind the seat, and is encased in a steel case. But the access door is underneath here. But a battery laying on the racetrack, seen a lot of things. Nicole, that ain't never been one of them I've ever seen.
A lot can happen at this particular track, and there it is, right there.
See, Jamie
After
runs
contact
over
with the 83.
batteries. Man,
Jamie McMurray is out of the car and out of the infield care center, Doc.
Yeah, Nicole, we thought the brakes would be the first thing to get hot down here, not the drivers. What's the deal with you and the 83 car?
When you don't feel like you get off the corner good, you block. And I pulled down and blocked, and I saw he was going to get in there, so I moved back up the track, and I just felt like he let off the brake and went ahead and sent me for a ride. And I don't know, it's frustrating because we had a really good car yesterday, and it didn't start very good today, and I thought we got our car quite a bit better there. And I was just really upset that I felt like I blocked him and then I let him in. It was all going to be good, and I just felt like he kind of took a cheap shot at me, so I just didn't appreciate it.
Okay, short tracks and short tempers here, AB.
Doc, thanks. Green flag. Montoya in the 42 does not get going very well in that outside lane. Newman, the leader, clears him. Marcos Ambrose goes through on the inside to second, and A.J. Allmendinger, 43, going to work on adding one to the 42's position running on the racetrack.
Yeah, you see Casey Mears in that 13 car up there today. Doing a great job. Trouble on the front straightaway.
Oh, look out, Bobby Labonte. Oh, and Casey Kane. And Kurt Busch barely squeezed through there. No caution.
Still green. I think we're going to have to throw it. Bobby Labonte stopped here.
There he goes. We stay under green. Bobby was 15th. Now he's a lap down. That'll put him back in 34th spot for Labonte.
Yeah, David Reagan's got some damage too down the back straightaway, smoking.
He and the 4, Casey Kane, a lot of smoke coming from right front of his car.
Like Casey's in the pit.
This is truly one of those places where when something happens in front of you, there is no reaction time and no place to go. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart, guys who were up the front of the field early in the race and shuffled back and forth by some strategy at various points, trying to pick their way through the traffic. We are at Clint Boyer, 3 wide move there. Wow. We're just a fifth of the way into today's race 7 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Martinsville Speedway, the smallest track on the circuit, but one of the most difficult. Rough and rugged is the racing here, and it has been that way through these opening 100 laps. Already 5 caution flags in the race. Drivers, many of their cars carrying battle scars already. The nose of Denny Hamlin's 11 car nicked up, the back bumper beaten up, and yet Hamlin, one of the guys that's driven up front and led some of this race. 7 different drivers have led. We talked about Bobby Labonte getting turned around off of turn 4 a minute ago, but no caution. Here's what happened.
See, Dave Blaney just happened to get into the left rear. Bobby Labonte spun him.
Woo! Did Kurt Busch barely get through there?
A couple of others just barely snuck by there.
Outside. You see it.
Very nice.
Outside.
Jimmy Johnson. And a race for 3rd. Back to live action. Allmendinger's gotten through to 2nd. Here's Montoya. And Ambrose and around.
All right, we got front end damage. We got down by the 42. Let's get going if you can, Marcos. Just stay high.
Caution number 6. Race for 3rd place.
I was just going to compliment these road racers and how well they were doing today. You have these road racing specialists like Marcos Ambrose and Montoya and even Allmendinger running at the front of the field.
I don't think Ambrose is going to be very happy here. Let's see.
Yeah, he's just having a hard time getting the car to turn, looks like. There, yeah. Finally did get it to turn left.
Something, maybe the tire hung up under that mashed in left front.
Actually, I believe it's the right front wheel that was hung up.
See if Montoya wheel hops this a little bit getting in. Yeah, just drove it in. Just couldn't get the car turned down. Drove it in too hard in trying to make the pass.
From Kevin Harvick.
Well, it doesn't take much.
Stay low, stay in it. Caution's out.
Well, just after he got spun around on the front stretch and no caution came out for him, Bobby Labonte was the first car a lap down, and so he gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. First car a lap down will come back around onto the lead lap in 32nd position. Who's going to pit this time? Newman's going to give up the lead to stop. Casey Mears, and not many others. Boyer, Kurt Busch, Dave Blaney, most everybody staying out. Ryan Newman last in about 70 laps ago, Jamie.
Yes, and of course stayed out, led a bunch of laps. He said he's starting to free up, so they wanted to bring it in. Needs a little help with forward drive, 4 tires, and no adjustments for the 39. Dave?
Jamie, Kurt Busch radioed his crew, said that the adjustments we made the last time really did help the car because it was extremely loose, but they want to check over this damage. They also want to change the 4 tires because he did nick the wall there, as we saw in other various contacts since he's been on the track.
There's been a lot of various contact today, Dave. I think some drivers would say some of it's been random contact, some of it's been not so random.
I just can't get
6th caution out. A.J. Allmendinger goes to the point by not pitting under this yellow. Here's the reason for the caution. Montoya and Ambrose.
Love so sweet, got me vexed though. I wanna wish you right.
1 to go, the signal at the start-finish line. Flagman's going to have tired arms at the end of the day if he keeps having to wave that caution flag and the green restart flag like he has so far.
Yeah, and pace car driver, I don't know if he's getting any lap money, but he's been out there quite a bit today, too.
Brett Bodine could end up leading the most laps in the pace car at the head of the field. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on his radio a minute ago. Listen to this.
I think if we raced at more short tracks, then I might be considered a dirty driver. Like get a little bit of a reputation. Because, man, it's hard not to do it.
I'm
at least
sorry.
he's honest.
He's just entertaining to listen to. That's fun. Dale Jr. running right now in 16th spot. Allmendinger and Montoya to the restart with Kevin Harvick up to 3rd in that 29 car and going for 2nd.
Montoya would say that Allmendinger kind of brake checked things there coming to the green.
Yeah, it looked like he did. He just kind of slowed the field down. Right where you think they're ready to go, he actually slowed down more.
NASCAR rules, the leader's supposed to be the first one to the start-finish line on the restart, so Montoya doesn't have much option but to slow up a little bit if Allmendinger stabs the brakes. Games drivers play. Getting hung in that outside lane, costing Montoya now. Harvick went by him for 2nd, Kyle Busch for 3rd. Here's Greg Biffle going by for 4th. Can Montoya squeeze in front of Denny Hamlin? Yes, he does.
I was really surprised he didn't do that the last lap. He had just enough of an opening in front of Greg Biffle, but chose not to do that, and it cost him a spot.
Protecting that inside lane, so Hamlin's going to look outside.
Yeah, you look back through the field, I see a couple cars making some moves on the outside. Dale Jr. actually passed a couple of cars the last lap.
And there's Jimmy Johnson. He jumped to that outside lane, and he's trying to get around Carl Edwards for a spot there. That'd be 8th and 9th.
You can see Jr. trying to sneak on the outside of Paul Menard.
Kyle Busch under Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, these two right here had a little incident yesterday in practice with Biffle and Harvick. I think it was just a miscommunication.
Boy, Biffle, this isn't the place that you think about Greg Biffle having a lot of stellar runs over the years, so nice to see him running up front.
No, as a matter of fact, in getting ready for this race, Biffle said this might be his worst racetrack. Carl Edwards giving up that spot to Jimmy Johnson, who went back to the inside. Martin Truex following through. Now Junior's going to try the outside in the 88 car.
He's been on the outside of Paul for a couple of laps now. He actually had him cleared off turn 4 the last lap.
Whoa, tire smoke there. Martin goes by in the 5. There's Kenseth to the inside of Junior in the 17.
It just costs you so much when you have any break of that momentum that you need, especially up off the corner.
And I'm wondering if they've got a little fender in on that left front tire now with that 88 car. We'll keep an eye on that. Here is the lead. Kyle Busch to the point in the 18 car. And the Biff trying to follow him through.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with A.J. Allmendinger here today. I don't know that anybody really saw that coming, that he would be this competitive. Whew. Greg Biffle did a nice job there not to get into the back of him. We've seen some others take the liberty to go on and hit someone in that position.
Allmendinger sees the inevitable. Biff's faster and is through. Biffle, just to use the correct language, Biffle called this, quote, the most challenging for me on the circuit. Look at this scramble. David Ruderman trying to make his way back from an early spin, and Junior trying to hang in there in that outside lane. We take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint. NASCAR fans voted at sprint.com/speed on the driver they wanted us to go in car with today. Dale Jr. was the top choice. So on board now via the Evo Cam, and we listen in.
Well, damn, that was pretty fun too. It just never ends. I'm not sure if starting 43 is enough, the rate we're going.
Junior and Steve Letarte there. Get closer to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with unlimited access to highlights, news, and more. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Junior in 14th right now. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, 14 and 48, 5th and 6th positions. I was impressed. Johnson was able to make that outside lane work for the first few laps after that restart.
When you get the field kind of bottled up and you've got a good car, you can, when everybody starts fighting for the bottom, they have to slow down to get there. You can make a few spots, but once they get strung out, it gets harder and harder to make that outside lane work.
Yeah, you look at these two cars here, right here, Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson battling right now. We talk about all these other cars with damage. You don't really see anything on these two. Doing a nice job here of being patient, realizing that this is a long 500 laps, taking what it'll give them. Tony Stewart seems to be a little better, I think, than what he thought he may be here, Doc.
He really is, DJ, and the key word you said a moment ago, Tony Stewart showing a lot of patience now, getting challenged by the 48 car who will take that spot away as Jimmy Johnson goes by. Tony's not going to push his luck here. He said, I need to stay in the top 10, take care of my car for at least 300 laps. He said, today's a day I've got to gain ground on the 99 to 17. Not a good track for them. Should be a good track for us if I don't mess it up. So Stewart now just trying to stay clean for the first 350 or so laps.
Yeah, Doc, 34th and 24th, the last two times here at Martinsville for Tony Stewart, and the concrete surface tracks have been difficult for that 14 this year. Kevin Harvick working on A.J. Allmendinger for 3rd and 4th positions. And they're all chasing Kyle Busch, who has set sail a little bit after taking the lead in that 18 car a few laps ago. The Tums Fast Relief 500 at Martinsville. Still just a quarter distance in. Race fans, check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy to watch coverage live from Martinsville. Follow your favorite drivers for free with 8 live camera views. ESPN's coverage of Race 7 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup from Martinsville, Virginia. A rough and rugged opening quarter of today's 500-lap event. 6 cautions so far. Kyle Busch is the man who is out in front now. He's led twice for 34 laps, second most on the day. Let's go up to speed. Check in on some of the front runners as the race appears to have settled for a second. Dave, what are they saying on that 18 pit?
They like the lead. Remember, he has never won here at Martinsville in the Sprint Cup Series, but he led a lot of laps here in the spring. And crew chief Dave Rogers says, we have been learning this place, once again, thanks to our teammate, Denny Hamlin, and their hard work here. He says every time we try something that Denny's tried, like a Pocono or something, it works once we tweak it to Kyle's liking. But he definitely says they got some help from their teammate who's won here 4 times. Doc?
Well, behind him is a 16 car of Greg Biffle, who's never won here. In fact, Biffle has never won in a Sprint Cup car on a short track. 16 career wins. And remember, Matt Buscia, the crew chief of the 16 car, was not here back in April. He was not hired to come over to this team until the middle of July. They have a very good race car for Greg Biffle. Really good drive off right now. Mike.
Doc, prior to the 48's last pit stop on lap 86, Jimmy Johnson was saying the car was just a little bit tight. They changed left side tires, and the car is much better, according to Johnson. Knaus came over the radio moments ago telling him, keep the car clean. You're one of the fastest cars on the track. Dave?
Some of the cars here this weekend were showing unusual tire wear. Not the case with the 11, so crew chief Mike Ford was very confident about their car here today. He last pitted Denny did on lap 68. The damage that you see on that car, not affecting it. It was very good. They put the track bar down to tighten him up a little bit. Jamie?
And the former road course driver A.J. Allmendinger. The aggressiveness is paying off today, and mixed with a fast race car. He's led some laps, started the day 16th. The only adjustment they've made on this car all day, air pressure one time. Behind him, who he got around, Kevin Harvick came in here 5th in points. He told us in pre-race, this is my wild card. He got blocked in his pit box on his first stop, but he has fought his way back. He's now 6th. Mike?
Jamie, coming into this race, Martin Truex Jr. described Martinsville as one of his toughest racetracks. He said he's had good cars here, he's had good runs going, he just rarely gets the results they were expecting. You'll remember back in the spring, a stuck throttle ruined a run there. Right now, he feels like the car's really good. Meanwhile, a battle on the racetrack, Jimmy Johnson making his move toward the front, slides up underneath Greg Biffle, Doc.
Biffle, a Roush Fenway car. Meanwhile, Biffle's teammate, the 17 car, second in points, and second when he started today, Matt Kenseth, having a pretty solid day. But the car's been very, very free up off, unlike many guys complaining that they are tight in the middle and tight off. He said he was unable to use the throttle, said I had no side bite coming up off. They made an adjustment there with the rear tire pressure going down. Jamie.
And Ryan Newman started the race today 12th. In the one and only practice session they had this weekend yesterday, he was 23rd. But Tony Gibson, his crew chief, said, we're going to be good. We're going to be fast. This just happens to be a great racetrack for Ryan Newman. 3 poles, he's never won, but the car has been all right. And right behind him, Jeff Gordon involved early on in an instant. You see it right there on the right front side of his race car, had a lot of damage. He pitted probably more than any other car in this field. They did a great job repairing it. He is a 7-time winner here, hoping to get another one, Doc.
Behind him, just losing 10th spot, now back to 11. Tony Stewart trying to gain some ground in the points race. Tony has finished 24th or worse the last 3 times he's come to Martinsville. That's why they decided to go with teammate Ryan Newman's setup. But Newman likes to charge the corner and jab the brakes. Tony said, I had to totally adjust my driving style. Right now, he's tight in the middle and really bit tight off. Dave.
Doc, keeping with the season, the 99 crew has something special in their engineering department that comes to the racetrack. It's called the Magic Setup Pumpkin. They wrote that on a plain old pumpkin in Sharpie. And then it says, rub it. I asked crew chief Bob Osborne this morning, okay, what did it tell you to do? Don't get the car too free. And so far, that has been the case with the 99. The last couple of runs, he said, it's the best it's been all day. Doc?
And how about the 2 car, 4th in the point standing? Brad Keselowski having issues with the front and back of the car. And guys, the yellow waving on the racetrack.
What a shock, Doc. Joey Logano turned around in turn 4 off the front bumper of another.
Damage, pretty bad.
It would be the 88 car whose front bumper assisted Logano in his spin. Racing for 18th spot, and caution out here after the longest green flag run we've had all race so far. At a race plenty big advantage Kyle Busch had, and here is...
Another example, just getting down into the corner a little bit hard. You can see the 88 of Dale Jr. just get in there, wheel hop just a little bit, had to correct back to the right.
Well, keep coming there, keep coming. Cost. Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
And the pit road is open.
They go to work on the right side. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, a wedge adjustment there. Team swinging around to the left side now. A 4-tire change for the 48 car. Jamie?
And Kevin Harvick saying he's lacking rear grip. They told him to stop short so he didn't get blocked in his pit box. Fuel and 4 tires for the 29, Dave.
Denny Hamlin in the 11. He has been loose off the corner. They will make an air pressure adjustment for him. Meanwhile, leader Kyle Busch, they want to take air pressure out of the rear tires to give him more grip coming up off the corner. He pits just behind Carl Edwards. You see Newman going by. Busch will lose this race off pit road.
Our Coca-Cola race off pit road, Dave, showing you that indeed Ryan Newman.
Boy, yeah, Newman's crew doing a great job gaining 6 spots.
Well, pit road can be a very congested place, a very action-packed place. A little flare-up after one of the cars left its pit stall. Everything is under control and just fine. That was Matt Kenseth's pit. And we're under yellow number 7 at Martinsville. One to go, signal at the start-finish line. ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from Martinsville, Virginia, with Ryan Newman taking just 2 tires on the pit stop to pick up those spots and get to the number 1 position.
So that's how they did it.
That's a little strategy. And Kyle Busch, who led that last stretch of the race, lining up to his outside for the restart. Penalty to Juan Pablo Montoya under this caution. Too fast exiting. He goes to the end of the line for the restart. That's his second speeding penalty of the day. And Regan Smith gets the free pass on this caution and comes back around the pace car to get a lap back.
Casey Kane took a wave around, though. That gets him back to 4 laps down after his problems earlier.
And David Reagan back on the track after spending 41 laps behind the wall. Remember, he and Bobby Labonte got tangled up earlier in the race. Kyle with a crossover move. Four fresh tires. Oh, and by the way, a pretty fast race car. Send him back to the front.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. He's just sending a message that you're going to win this race. You don't have to go through the 18 today.
Might have to go through Joe Gibbs Racing, period. Here comes Denny Hamlin to the inside for second in the 11.
Matt Kenseth in there rubbing a little paint. Jimmy Johnson.
Uh-oh. Oh, look out.
Even more. I think Jimmy gave him a little room there. You could tell Matt was pretty serious about that spot.
He was committed?
Definitely.
17 and 48. Kenseth and Johnson racing for 4th and 5th.
Wow, did you see that run Jimmy got off turn 4?
Enough to get him cleared. Kevin Harvick, 29, stuck up in that outside lane. Gonna race there with A.J. Allmendinger in the 43 and Martin Truex in the 56. Jeff Gordon coming into the picture as well. We've got 28 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's what makes this such a difficult points race for these drivers battling for the championship. As we see Johnson now trying to take that 3rd spot away. But they know that a lot of cars finish on the lead lap here, especially with as many cautions we had. Anything happen to you, a flat tire, something like that, lose a lot of points in a hurry.
And if you get a flat tire, you're going to lose at least a couple laps changing it here. And it's going to be hard to get all the way back to the lead lap. Matt Kenseth had a race that was an adventure like that back in April here. He jumped the initial start of the race, had to get a pass-through penalty. Had to get a couple of free passes to get back on the lead lap late, and wound up having the strategy work out right for him to come back for a 6th-place finish.
So some smoke there from Ryan Newman. Here goes Jimmy Johnson for the 2nd spot around Denny Hamlin.
I'm not sure that smoke off of Newman wasn't just locking that left tire up getting into turn 1. Those left side tires have got a lot of laps on them. It's the first time we've seen somebody put 2 tires on with this many laps on the left side, so Newman might be paying the price for that later.
I think he was just trying to get away from Matt Kenseth a little bit. Matt was pressuring pretty hard and may have just gotten in the corner a little bit too hot.
So as things have settled out from the restart, there is Carl Edwards, championship leader starting the day. He's back in 17th spot. Remember, 1 point per finishing position. So right now, with Matt Kenseth running in 5th and Edwards running back where he is, that's the gap as they run at Martinsville. But we got an awful long way to go here in the Tums Fast Relief 500. Not even halfway through today's race. Kyle Busch out in front here at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia by a couple of seconds over Jimmy Johnson. That's about a straightaway here. Quickly, we take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint. Jeff Gordon, among active drivers, has led more laps than anyone here at this Martinsville racetrack, nearly 3,000 laps starting the day today. Kyle Busch has led more than anyone else today. Kyle out in front for 61 of the 170 laps that we have run. Fastest average speed for a race here at Martinsville. I know this is going to sound kind of low when you use the numbers like we were talking at Talladega last week, but Jeff Gordon at 82 miles an hour is the fastest average for a race, 500 laps here at Martinsville. Kyle Busch averaging 94 miles an hour in this one so far today. Get closer to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with unlimited access to highlights, news, and more. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Could title this one Checking Out or Trying To. Look at the gap. Kyle Busch to Jimmy Johnson.
We've been impressed. See these lap times all pretty close, but consistently Kyle Busch has been a little bit better than second place Jimmy Johnson and third place Denny Hamlin.
Matt Kenseth, solid run in fourth position in the 17. Driver who came in second in the championship. Got a break, as did Carl Edwards when qualifying was rained out. Got to start on the outside of the front row. See the scoring serial on Matt through some of the split strategy pit stops we've seen today, Andy. He's been shuffled back and yet shuffled forward.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Good. He's got a good car, and Carl Edwards is kind of stuck back there in the high teens. He's 18th right now, so that would show Matt Kenseth as a point leader as they run.
Yeah, Matt, even though this hasn't been a terrible racetrack, it hasn't been great for him, but he's usually pretty solid, and I think that's what was going to benefit him today in having a chance to get up there. He's been solid in every chase race so far. All the finishes don't show it, but he's been right there.
You see that he and Carl Edwards, as they run on the racetrack, tied with a number of points for the moment. Tiebreaker, if it ends the season that way, most wins. Right now that edge goes to Matt. Tony Stewart, we saw in that long run of the race, giving up some spots on the racetrack. Doc, what's going on with that 14 car?
It has been a struggle, to say the least, here for Tony Stewart today. Started fourth and has been drifting back, now currently being shown in 19th position, and they have worked on the car. And here's the latest that Tony had to say about what's going on inside the cockpit.
This is all I can do right here. Hey, Far, what's the car doing? I'll give you one guess.
And that guess would be tight in the middle, but very, very tight from about the last third up off. Can't get the car to turn, can't use the throttle, worried about the right side tire. They told him the left rear tire was pretty much gone after 45 laps. So loose in, tight in the middle, and sort of tied off. They made a wedge adjustment, took a rubber out of the left rear. They've done a lot of work on this car, but Andy, still a lot left to work on for Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Doc, I've been watching this car basically all weekend, and it seems like Tony's just had to put way too much wheel in the car through the middle of the corner to make time. I know he had a good starting position and looked decent early with those short runs, but these longer runs have really exposed the issues that they have with this thing.
So there you see Tony running in line in 19th position, right behind the man who started today as the championship leader, Carl Edwards, with a little bit of damage on the right rear corner of that 99 car. Remember that Carl started on the pole. Jeff Gordon going to pick up a spot. That's fifth. 24 car just took away from Greg Biffle in the 16, and Allmendinger in the 43, trying to follow through, and does. All that going on well behind Kyle Busch. Kyle is 1.9 seconds ahead of Jimmy Johnson. A little short track racing today for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Martinsville.
189 laps in here at Martinsville, but it's been a busy 189 laps. An early on accident as we get caught up with what's happened with our Dodge race rundown.
Yeah, guys, got to the corner there. Kurt Busch spins around. We had a little bit of nicks and bangs and dents and whatnot. Denny Hamlin was involved, but all of them end up being okay.
A couple of chasers in that one. Tight racetrack, tight on pit road as well. Check this out.
One of the smallest pit roads we have in the entire racing circuit. Not a lot of room. You got to really be on your P's and Q's. You come in, you see Tony get into David Gilliland there, bumps his car up just a little bit. It's going to happen all day long.
And then there was this.
Yeah, we had Jamie McMurray and Brian Vickers. These guys got after one another. You see Brian accidentally getting to Jamie, and Jamie tries to retaliate. Doesn't quite do it very well, and ends up costing himself a day.
We could have a very interesting conversation a little bit later. On the racetrack, some good racing between a couple of championship contenders. Jimmy Johnson needs a good day to have a shot to win title number 6. Right now, he's running in second.
He's doing a great job. Matt Kenseth's running well as Jimmy, and both these guys are up front, both in the top 5. So chasing this guy right here, Kyle Busch.
The leader. up by nearly 2.2 seconds ahead of Jimmy Johnson. AB?
And Nicole, a little rough and rugged to start with, beginning to settle out, but the big part of the race that's usually the most tense still to come, and that's the late laps of this, as we're not even halfway through this one here at Martinsville. Kyle Busch out in front, Dave.
And Alan, you mentioned it's very early. Kyle was asked earlier this weekend about the 40-point championship deficit. He said, you know what, I haven't thought a lot about that, but obviously we put ourselves in a more challenging position. But what better way to overcome than to dominate with a race car that's very, very good? If they can do what they're doing right now, keep that race car under him and ahead of the competition the way he has been, he's going to pick up a significant amount toward the championship.
Yeah, sure. Well, remember, Kyle was leading the April race here with 20 laps to go when he got shuffled aside by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who went to the point and then ended up having to give up the lead himself with 4 to go when Kevin Harvick got by him. Now, another guy to keep an eye on today, he was involved in that early wreck at lap number 7.
Trouble off of 2.
Bobby Labonte in a slide, and the caution flag is out. I won't even call it a spin. I'll just call it a slow slide.
Yeah, that was right in front of the leader right there. Bobby was racing with the 71 car, and the 36 was there along with Kyle Busch.
Bobby 31st at the time. Remember, he got turned around on the front straightaway earlier.
See right here, Hermie Sadler gets a little better run off the corner than Bobby, and just a little bit of contact sends you sliding here.
So, pit road open for lead lap cars and lots of takers. 27 lead lap cars. Looks like they're all coming in. Mike?
And Jimmy Johnson is into his pit box, hits his box very well. They're going to go to work on the chassis once again. Another wedge adjustment there. Also a 4-tire change expected on the 4018 as he swings around to the right side or left side of the car, Jamie.
We're not even at the halfway point, and this is the 11th pit stop for Jeff Gordon and this crew. Fought his way back up to fifth, saying he's just a little tight through the middle. 4 tires and fuel, Doc.
Right upper corner, Matt Kenseth said the first 2/3 of the corner were really good, but no grip up off. Air pressure change, 4 tires. Dave.
What do you do to keep the 18 car in the lead? According to Kyle, nothing. Crew chief will think about that. They didn't make any chassis adjustments, perhaps an air pressure adjustment. Kyle's going to hold position over these cars, Alan.
Well, what you do to keep them in the lead, Dave? Have a good pit stop. And the 18 team did. Our Coca-Cola race off pit road. Kyle Busch over Jimmy Johnson to hang on to that number 1 spot.
She said, I seen you in here before.
Martinsville Speedway, where they've been hosting NASCAR races since 1949. Today, the Tums Fast Relief 500, race number 7 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. While we work the caution, remind you that Monday Night Football on ESPN on Halloween night features Phillip Rivers and the High Voltage Chargers attack, taking on Matt Castle and the rival Chiefs in a fight for their 4th straight victory for the Chiefs. First place in the AFC West is on the line. It's Chargers-Chiefs on ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern, also available live on Watch ESPN. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Should be a good one. Carl Edwards lost another 7 spots on pit road. He's all the way back to 26th position.
Yeah, headed in the wrong direction from that starting spot. Dave?
Guys, to the surprise of rear tire changer Dwayne Ogles, when he went to put on the left rear tire, a lug nut from one he had taken off had bounced up and set right between 2 studs. He had to find out what it was. Then he pulled it out, put that left rear tire back on.
And I've seen that happen before, and it is frustrating. It's a good race for the lead, though. Look at Jimmy Johnson racing on the outside. He couldn't make it work.
Yeah, these first 3 or 4 laps is when you might make that pass on the high side. After that, you'll have to find your way to the bottom.
Going to be hard to get by that 18 car. He has been fast. End of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race yesterday. 2 racing side by side for the lead. Went wide in 1 and 2. Denny Hamlin went underneath both of them, 3 wide to the lead. Jimmy Johnson's going to make sure that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, he saw an opening to get to the bottom and took it right quick.
Jeff Gordon squeezing down in front of Matt Kenseth. Double wide, Kevin Harvick, 29. A.J. Allmendinger, 43. That is 7th and 8th.
Yeah, how about those 2, 3, and 4 spots right there? That's 17 victories among those 3 drivers at this racetrack, between Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and Jeff Gordon.
Look at the side of Junior's car.
He's used it up so far.
I wouldn't say used it up. He's got a little more to do. It's well used, though.
You say it might look worse than that by the end of the day?
I think there's a good chance.
20 different cars involved in incidents today in the 8 caution flags that we've had. Look closely if you haven't been with us since the start of the race. Look at the donut marks up the right side, the bars hanging out of rear bumpers, the big tape patches on the noses of cars in different places.
That's fun as hell. Say more, buddy.
He's having fun.
He's having fun. Yeah.
That's how he describes this racetrack. He says it's fun.
And now he's going in the right direction. He's moving forward, passing cars. You see him go by A.J. Allmendinger here. See Jeff Burton right there in front. This has always been a good racetrack for Jeff Burton. Came so close to winning last week at Talladega.
Yeah. Even he's nicked up a little bit. Look at the stuff hanging off the right front fender there.
Well, he had a long way to come in this race. He started well back, so you know he's had to get a piece of all of the action somewhere along the way.
23rd place is where Burton took the green flag. Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, 29 and 16, nose to tail. They were nose to nose, sort of, having a conversation after Saturday's one and only practice session that occurred here for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Talking about Dale Jr. in the 88 car. He's running now 9th position. He's been up and down the board from front to back during the race today so far. Jamie?
And he has, and before the race started, actually all weekend since he's gotten in his race car, he said, we're not only a top 5 car, but we have a hot rod. And they are hanging on to that hope as he gets aggressive and moves his way back forward. He's trying to get around the 31. That last stop, though, they took the wedge out that they had put in the last stop, and that seemed to have helped the car a lot, Alan.
All right, Jamie, thanks.
I was talking to Jason Burdett, the car chief on this 88 car yesterday, and asked him about the tire in particular. Since it had changed, he said, well, we did the tire test, and this is the tire that Dale Jr. liked the most, so he better not be saying anything about the tire, but I think he likes his car a lot right now, too.
Hey, Andy, we heard Brewer talking about keeping those brake ducts from being messed up. You see that grill where the radiator gets cooled on that 88 car punched in a little bit. That going to be a problem?
I don't think the grill work's going to hurt too much. As long as it didn't mess the ductwork up behind that and restrict the flow, it's not going to hurt anything to actually flow maybe a little more air in.
It might flow. The only problem would be something bouncing up here and going through the radiator, possibly.
There have been plenty of parts flying around today.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick picks up a spot around Greg Biffle. That's 6th position. Biffle fighting with Jeff Burton for 7th. Junior right behind. Truex, Allmendinger, and Keselowski as well. Haven't called that 2-car for a while. He was 28th just a little while ago with only 29 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, making a nice run back forward. We really thought, Andy and I were talking, that the 2-car is kind of out of this today. I don't know if it was a bad adjustment, set of tires that didn't agree, but they're going the right way now.
Yeah, that one run, I mean, he was going straight backwards, almost got lapped before the caution came out. And then they've got this thing really running good now.
Truex caught in the outside lane, shuffled back. How about that 2-car, Doc?
Just amazing. We talk about how it's only Brad Kay's second year as a Sprint Cup driver, and only his crew chief Paul Wolf's first year as a Sprint Cup crew chief. That these guys seem to make the right adjustments. The adjustment a moment ago, minor air pressure change, track bar, and now very good in the middle, great in the middle, he says. A little bit of tight off, and he's making his way back toward the front, as is the 24 car, by the way, of Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, don't look now, but a guy that was swept up into a wreck at lap 7 and went all the way back to 34th has just taken 3rd. Jeff Gordon. 7-time Martinsville winner. You look at the list of stats among active drivers at this racetrack, most of them Jeff Gordon's name is on top of.
Yeah, he's in a class by himself when it comes to that.
Hoping to be in a class by himself at the end of the day today, holding that grandfather clock trophy, or putting a big hug around it anyway. Be a little heavy to pick up. I don't care who you are. Coming up on halfway here in Martinsville, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, the top 2, Gordon chasing them. As the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season winds down, so does the season for the NHRA drag racers, the Big O Tires NHRA Nationals. From Vegas, Sunday 7 Eastern Time. That's tonight on ESPN2. NASCAR Now, late night tonight, post-race wrap-up, 10 Eastern Time, ESPN2. And our Monday roundtable, we'll break it all down and talk about all the issues from today's race, Monday 2:30 Eastern Time. Next weekend, it's on to Texas Motor Speedway. The campers are already setting up in the campgrounds out there, I hear. Nationwide Series, Saturday, noon Eastern. Their championship resuming after a 2-week off break. And then down to the third to last race of the season, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, ESPN 2 Eastern, next Sunday. Martinsville, Virginia, coming up on halfway in today's race 7 in the chase for the Sprint Cup. Kyle Busch is leading, but he's got a new second-place runner behind him. Jeff Gordon is still marching forward. Whatever they've done to this 24 car on these recent pit stops, Jamie, it's worked.
They have had their work cut out for him. Alan Gustafson is crew chief. Alan, I don't know what you've done to your car or your driver. You guys are moving in the right direction. What is going on right now?
Yeah, the car's been good. We just had some problems with that early incident and really couldn't show what we had. You know, everybody knows this is Jeff's place. He's awesome here. So we just needed some track position, and the track's rubbered up. That's helped us. We've had to anticipate that. I talked to you earlier this morning. That's what we've struggled with the last couple times here, is being right when the track gets rubbered up, and for now looks like we got it.
They fell back all the way to 41st after that contact early, Alan. Unbelievable.
11 pit stops today for the 24 car after that early incident. Here he is closing on Kyle Busch to take the lead.
Yeah, and he's talking about the track rubbering up. You get that, especially that buildup down in turns 3 and 4. And I always thought that's where Jeff Gordon was so good here, maneuvering his car around that and getting speed when everybody else seemed to struggle. You can see he's got him right there battling for the lead now.
It seems like it took just a little longer today for it to rubber up with this new right side tire. Now that it has, though, Jeff Gordon's car really come to life.
Little opening there. Can he get that 24 to stick?
Got it.
He's getting such a run off the corner.
And new leader. The guy who was 34th, 8 laps into the race, Jeff Gordon. Look at it. The front end's mashed in. The right rear's hanging out a little bit there. And he is driven back to the front.
The Brewer said you can knock the fenders and things off of it.
Don't mess with this brake.
That's right. Looks like he's in good shape there.
Jeff Gordon has had a ton of success at this Martinsville racetrack over the years, and he says the place just suits his driving style.
It just suits my style, how I brake. And the way I brake, it just allows us to work on the car in a way to carry momentum through the corners and get the drive off that you need, and have a car that you can drive deep in the corners to make passes, as well as make up time when you need it.
Well, Jeff Gordon has that car suited to his style today because he has driven it all the way through the top 5 to the front.
Yeah, that wasn't the case early on for Jeff Gordon at this racetrack. We were up here on a test session, and it was actually, we were all up here 3 days, and Jeff Gordon worked hard, and he hadn't had a lot of success before that. He came back and has been almost unbeatable since that time.
Change of third position. Denny Hamlin by Jimmy Johnson. So the 48 car fading a little bit here. It's this longer green flag run has gone on. And new 5th place runner Kevin Harvick is up into the number 5 spot. There's a little knot of cars there for just a minute, but Harvick is in 5th with Matt Kenseth, Dale Jr. and AJ Allmendinger right behind him in 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. All that going on while Carl Edwards runs in 25th position. And Tony Stewart runs in 21st position. Not the day this 14 car was looking for, Doc. They were up front earlier.
They were. Thought they were going to have a really good race car to continue to drop and continue to work on the car. In fact, here's what Tony had to say a moment ago about where they are right now.
I've got the same balance I've had from the drop of the green flag to now. It's not, there's nothing we've done that's made it change that same spot. We've got the same thing.
They have changed wedge, track bar, air pressure. You heard Tony say the balance is the same. Still tight in the middle and tight off. So here's what they're going to do. Tony said, I don't care if we lose a lap. We got to make this car better. So next time, let's take our time, put a rubber in the right rear. Let's close up the left rear shocks. We got to make a change that will work. We'll get back there if we can get the car better. Alan?
All right, Doc, thanks. So again, Tony languishing back in 21st position at the moment as we come up on halfway in today's race. Jeff Gordon out in front. One of 11 different drivers that have paced today's race. He's put that gap on a pretty good race for second. Denny Hamlin has caught Kyle Busch in traffic. Put a little pressure on him there. And Hamlin trying to continue this run of success he's had at Martinsville. See if he can get to the front and into victory lane. 5 laps, now 4 laps from halfway. We go NASCAR nonstop now, presented by AT&T.
Wow, what's that? Oh, it's the new AT&T smartphone. Nice. I wish I could afford one. Yeah, I got a good deal. So. Look at that screen. Ooh. Fast too, right? Oh yeah. Last week, FITD. It streams movies. Turn left now. Look at this camera. Hold on. Let's get a photo. I'm listening to downloaded music. Oh, I can afford that. See ya.
The AT&T Impulse 4G. For $29.99, there's no excuse not to get your own. AT&T.
Losing power shouldn't mean losing time. The Next Tech Quick Boost. Giving you a charge in just 3 minutes, getting you back to work faster. Craftsman, trust in your hands. Now hard to reach is never out of reach. The next generation Craftsman Hammerhead. It's an auto hammer, but the only one with an articulating head for superior access. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
People think because I spend all my weekends at the racetrack, my life is predictable. Actually, things are constantly changing. And whether I need to protect my ATV, my truck, a new home, cover my home away from home, having life insurance, or a growing business, with Nationwide Insurance, I can bundle them together and save. You can too, up to 25%. So call Nationwide Insurance today to bundle and save.
Nationwide is on your side. Call 866-500-5555. The Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio.
TCU is going to win one for the ages.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Touchdown, Oklahoma!
The All-State Sugar Bowl.
It's kicked off. That'll do it.
The Discover Orange Bowl. And the All-State BCS National Championship game.
The Auburn Tigers are college football's best.
ESPN. The BCS lives here.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Martinsville is brought to you by Carfax. Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com. Just say, show me the Carfax. Bush's Baked Beans. Are you ready for game day? You are with a guaranteed crowd pleaser. Bush's Baked Beans. And CenturyLink. Consistently fast speeds and honest personal service. Find out more at CenturyLink.com.
We have just crossed the midway point of today's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Martinsville Speedway, and the championship leader, Carl Edwards, is about to get lapped by the race leader, Jeff Gordon. Gordon out in front. Kyle Busch has led the most laps so far today. Edwards, after starting on pole, did lead a good chunk of the opening stretch of this race, but a rugged event that has seen 8 cautions wave. And some different pit strategies played during those cautions have shuffled the 99 back into the field, and now he's going a lap down. And most of those rivaling him for the championship at the moment are pretty well up in the standings. Speaking about Kenseth and Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. A lap down in that 99, Dave. Can't be good news.
Now, he's been talking about the car not turning in the center of the corner, but the general vibe I got from him and from his crew chief, Bob Osborne, this morning was that for Martinsville, we're about where we always are. They did go back to a more traditional setup versus the experimenting they were doing in the spring, but I didn't get the idea that after yesterday's only practice, they had anything special. And remember, they haven't been good here. So this is not a huge surprise to them, I don't believe, although they certainly want to try to work on the car and get ahead of where they've been before.
Now, this was the race that made Carl Edwards nervous. Of those remaining, between himself and potentially wrapping his hands around a Sprint Cup Series championship trophy, this one. 2.5 mile tracks left. Texas and Homestead, Miami, they've been good at those. And Mark Martin turned around, caution out, and a huge break for Carl Edwards because
get around that 38. Hey, come on, going outside.
That caution came out before leader Jeff Gordon put another car a lap down. So
just like Marty Smith said in the countdown show, that he's had a lot of good luck this year. That was another great break for the 99 team.
Mark Martin was 20th at the time when he got turned around off of turn number 4.
And you were talking about Edwards being good at Texas and at Homestead. We'll see here Mark Martin trying to make a pass. See him get up on the curb just by himself. Trying to stay off of the 0-0 David Rudeman. And whoa, close call right there. Gets it headed back in the right direction. I was going to mention Matt Kenseth has been really good on these 1.5 miles too. And Matt's having a pretty solid day here himself.
So Mark Martin gets it back going again. And again, he was running in 20th position at the time. He lost a lap. He's now in 26th position before he got it righted. There is that commitment line for pit road. Jeff Gordon, the leaders, coming in. Pit stops will be at lap 260, 10 laps past halfway. Mike?
Jack Kanowski asking Jimmy Johnson how much of an adjustment he needs. Johnson saying he's only a little bit tight centering off, about a 2 on a 10 scale. They'll go to work on the chassis one more time and a 4-tire change in the 48, Jamie.
Alan Gustafson telling Jeff Gordon, you're doing great, man. Keep doing what you're doing. 4 tires, they'll fill it up with Sunoco fuel. No adjustments, Doc.
Matt Kenseth still a little bit free off. They have no more room to go on the air pressure. They're going to go down a half a round on the track bar with the 17. Dave.
Kyle Busch says he lost the lead because he didn't have throttle, because he needed forward bite, and because the car was tight in the center track bar and wedge adjustment, in addition to the full Sunoco fuel load he's going to get. And it's close at the line, guys.
It's close, but Coca-Cola Race Off Pit Road shows Jeff Gordon holding that spot. Jimmy Johnson's crew getting it done. Up a couple of spots. Denny Hamlin's going to slide back a couple of spots as we get set for the next restart. So Gordon holding the lead through the set of pit stops. Carl Edwards, the free pass, going to be back on the lead lap. And caution number 9 is out here at Martinsville Speedway. We go NASCAR nonstop, presented by AT&T. Doubled up for the restart. Jimmy Johnson outside of Jeff Gordon. On the front row, Gordon, the race leader, choosing the inside lane as we wrap up the 9th caution of today's race. David Gilliland took a wave around to get back on the lead lap. 25th position as we go back up to speed.
I call the teammates playing nice. They all lined up front. 2 Hendrick cars and 2 Gibbs cars.
Matt Kenseth inside of Kevin Harvick, 5th place, 17 and 29. And here comes Brad Keselowski continuing his nice rally.
Harvick trying to cut him off. Keselowski sticks his nose in.
That was a nice pass by Keselowski.
Harvick going to get a break there and a space in front of his Childress teammate, Jeff Burton.
Denny Hamlin let Kyle Busch go there, knowing that he's a little faster on the start of this. Denny really likes to conserve his rear tires for later in the run.
Dale Jr., A.J. Allmendinger, look out. That big curving on the inside of these corners here at Martinsville. I was waiting for somebody to bounce off that.
Oh, they will again here shortly.
That was David Reagan, the 6th, the slow car, just coming off the pit lane and getting back up to speed.
Yeah, he'd been back in the garage. I don't know if they're having a brake issue or something with that 6 car today, but he spent a lot of time in the garage.
Involved in an incident earlier in the race, and he spent time behind the wall as well. So how about this 2 car, Brad Keselowski? Race lined up on point, started in 3rd position, shuffled well back by some strategy. In fact, at one point, not that long ago, of 29 cars on the lead lap, he was running 28th.
Yeah, this is what he's done all year, though. He surprised me at so many of these races. And today, I mean, they just never give up. They keep working on it, and then they just, keep at the end of the race, they're the best they've been all day. What have they been doing today, Doc?
Well, they made several adjustments, Andy, but the key for Brad, he told me before the race, was simply seat time. Remember, he's only run 3 total races at this racetrack. But remember, he was one of the cars that did the Goodyear tire test back in August. And in the tire test, this car, the 2 car, ran 413 laps over 2 days. And although he was banged up and had a relief driver for some of those, that track time, DJ, helped him immensely right now dealing with traffic.
Yeah, you're right, Doc. This isn't somewhere that the nationwide cars have been running since Brad has been in that, so that's made a difference. He just doesn't have that time, and you get an extensive period like that where you can really figure some things out. Makes a huge difference showing up here today for Brad Keselowski.
An interesting thing, because Jeff Gordon, we talked about how well he runs here. Jeff, you talked about being at a 3-day test session here early in Jeff's career. And that's one of the things Gordon talked about, is because they were able to test a lot early in his career, he got a lot of laps at this racetrack to be able to figure out how to drive it and what he wanted the car to feel like.
Yeah, and you just don't have that opportunity now with the limited testing that you have within NASCAR. So these tire tests are very important for a lot of these young drivers to get some time and figure some things out about these tracks they don't have a lot of experience at.
So Keselowski there, running in 6th, right behind Matt Kenseth, who runs in 5th. We look ahead to the race leader, Jeff Gordon, out in front, just past the midway point of the race. It's Gordon, Johnson, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, with Kevin Harvick in 7th, Carl Edwards running back in 24th, Tony Stewart in 19th. The point picture as they run in the race right now. Still got a long way to go. We go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T.
The one restaurant with unlimited amazing food for one incredibly low price just might have gone deliciously off the chart. Only Golden Corral would introduce the lusciously amazing chocolate Wonderfall. Dip fresh strawberries, marshmallows, homemade macaroons, and more in a non-stop flowing river of chocolate indulgence. That's right, a non-stop flowing river of chocolate indulgence. Golden Corral. Now this is helping yourself to happiness.
Here's to the pursuit of better, faster, cleaner, funner. Here's to the pursuit of a Pennzoil motor oil so advanced, Elio uses it straight from the bottle in his Indy car. Here's to the pursuit of another 100 years of earning America's trust. Not just oil, Pennzoil. For a chance to win, pick up a game piece at participating oil change locations. Enter at Pennzoil.com.
Through turn 1, it's still
Richard Petty wins the Southeastern 500.
This is how a young man was crowned a king. And a kid from Dawsonville finally lived up to his nickname. This is when we discovered just how high smoke can rise. It's where family traditions get started, and other traditions get taken in a whole new direction.
Taking a backwards lap.
This is where names are engraved, not just in metal, but in history.
Race for the lead looks like that here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon with that much of an advantage on Jimmy Johnson, with still 220 laps to go in today's short track slugfest. A lot of the guys up front are guys involved in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Let's go up to speed and check on some of these front runners. Jamie, what are they saying in that 24 pit?
Well, I was talking to crew chief Alan Gustafson this morning about the points situation. This team came in 10th. They have an average finish in the chase of 20th. by far not the expectations that they or anybody else expected. So Alan told me their goal was to win in this next 4 weeks. They want to get their momentum back. And the run they've had today, you can't imagine a better momentum booster. Mike?
Jamie, we all know how much of a motivator Chad Knaus can be. So when I spoke with him this morning, I asked him what he has told his team, considering they find themselves in a very deep hole with just 4 races to go. He looked at me and said, nothing. I've told them nothing. They don't need to hear it. They're champions. They know what they need to do. They've been working on this car throughout the course of the afternoon. It started off loose. They've corrected that. It's been just a touch tight since they've made a series of wedge adjustments, but otherwise very good. They can improve on it slightly, but Jimmy, otherwise very happy, Dave.
Denny Hamlin is far down in the chase for the championship, Mike, but he says he wants to win before the end of the year for one reason, to finish at least 8th in points. He's done that every year so far in his career, and he's not there at the start of today's race. One thing to keep an eye on, he felt like after the last pit stop he might have a right rear tire that was left loose. Crew Chief Mike Ford got a thumbs up from all his guys. They looked at video, they believe it's okay, and he's moving forward. He passed his teammate Kyle Busch, who was ahead of him on the restart. Kyle, for his part, has been describing the drivers around him, what they've been doing on the throttle, off the throttle, trying to better himself here. Remember, he's gotten tips before from his teammate Denny Hamlin, and he tries to do whatever he can to get the 18 better. Doc?
Back behind them, Matt Kenseth. Now, crew chief Jimmy Phoenix has the biggest asset Matt has here. He's very poised and composed. And Jimmy Phoenix says, you know what? The biggest liability Matt has here on a scale of 1 to 10, he abuses the brake, so it's a 9 or a 10 in terms of really using that brake pedal. Right now, Matt's car is so good, he doesn't have to worry about it. And right behind him, the guy who might be right behind him in the points when the day is over, and that is Brad Keselowski. What an effort for this young man, who is obviously the Cinderella story of the chase. Brand new race car, very patient. He says the car, much better, little track bar adjustment. It was free up off, now much better getting off the corner. Jamie.
Well, Kevin Harvick told me the goal coming into this race, being that it was their wild card, was obviously to win. Well, if they can't win, the goal was to lead with less of a deficit to the point leader. He came in 26 points down, and after today, they kept their stuff together, and he says the car is just a little bit tight. They've been working on it, running 7th now, doing exactly what they had planned. Doc?
A major adjustment on that previous pit stop on the 14 car for Tony Stewart. They said we're going to go ahead and take the time, put the rubber in the right rear, close up the shocks to help the car, and apparently it has done just that, helping Tony big time. He had been dropping back the car much better in the middle and up off. Hopefully he can climb his way back toward the top 10. Dave.
Well, what a day it's been for Carl Edwards. He started first on the day, pitted early, gave up all his track position, and then twice has had issues on pit road, which had put him toward the rear of the pack. In fact, the last time, so far back, that leader Jeff Gordon was able to lap him. But don't forget, he just got the lucky dog free pass on the last caution. They're back on the lead lap to try to keep their position in the championship chase, Alan.
They're going to need to get going to keep from getting lapped again by Jeff Gordon. And as far as championship is concerned, remember, at 1 point per position, with Edwards 24th and Kenseth 5th. That's 19 points. Carl's looking at giving up to his teammate and rival for this championship. Jeff Gordon leads. We go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T.
That's it, Kyle. Let's go home. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Available 268 horsepower, class-leading MPG, and intuitive mobile technology. Introducing the reinvented 2012 Toyota Camry. It's ready. Are you? Game day. It's all about being prepared. So be ready with the perfect complement to all your game day favorites. Bush's Baked Beans. Are you ready?
As a fan of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, I want to get as close to the action as I can get. One way to do that is to use the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app for my HTC Evo 4G. Another way is to hide in the back of Carl Edwards' car. Yeah, Carl! Whoa, we're getting ramped!
Get unlimited access to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with highlights, news, and more. Truly unlimited data, only from Sprint.
This is not as safe as I initially planned.
At Goodyear, everything we've learned making these tires inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven.
He was totally unstoppable.
Drugs were maintenance. They were so he could function.
I dreamed about this when I was a little kid.
It was this kind of secret life.
What if I told you he lived the dream and the nightmare? ESPN Films presents Unguarded, directed by Jonathan Hawk, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN, brought to you by Buick.
Welcome back to the Tums Fast Relief 500. Jeff Gordon out front as we are 298 laps in. Second place now goes to Denny Hamlin, getting the best of Jimmy Johnson. Two guys who have won a lot of races at this track. In fact, in the last 10 races, only one driver not named Hamlin or Johnson has won at this race. Monday night, Halloween night, Phillip Rivers leads the high voltage Chargers as Matt Castle and the rival Chiefs fight for their fourth straight victory with first place in the AFC West on the line. It's the Chargers and the Chiefs on ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern, and also available live on Watch ESPN. Coverage begins 7 o'clock Eastern Time with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's. You know, just a few minutes ago, Brad, we got caught up to speed with where all of our chase drivers are in the field. And right now, the first 6 spots on the track belong to chase drivers. How about a couple of other guys out there, like the 48 car of A.J. Allmendinger, the best of the rest in 7th?
Yeah, AJ's done a really good job. He started 16th, obviously, but he's been as high as first. He's led a bunch of laps. He's been very, very fast. He's maintained that position inside the top 10 throughout the day. Looking for a good finish today for AJ. He's having a really solid season, but has yet to get to victory lane.
Of course, that car number, though, has been to victory lane here 16 times. Jamie?
And speaking of 16th, that's exactly where AJ started. He moved his way early. Unfortunately, he has lost quite a few positions on pit road, saying he's lacking rear grip now. He touched the wall earlier, bent the car up a little bit, but he's been wheeling that thing. He is the meat in between a chase sandwich, Nicole.
Well, that's A.J. Allmendinger in 7th. We move back just a few spots. We'll find the 56 car of Martin Truex Jr. in 10th. And I want to remind you of something. Remember the last time we were here?
Yeah.
The wicked hit that Martin Truex Jr. had.
Yeah, he and Casey Kane had just a violent crash here. And Martin Truex, another guy who's had some really significant, really marked runs this season where I thought he was going to possibly get to victory lane, but they just had a tough time finishing off good runs, good consistent runs. He's having another good one today. Hopefully Martin can make a good day out of this and possibly get towards victory lane.
One of the closest battles on the track right now is for 10th between Montoya and Martin Truex Jr. And just behind Juan Pablo Montoya, you'll find the 31 car of Jeff Burton, who just last weekend got his first top 5 in more than a year. Right now, he's running 12th.
Another guy, another race team that could use a little bit of love is this 31 car and his team. They've really struggled this year, got behind the 8-ball, did not have any decent runs for quite a while. Got last week to where they almost had a chance to win, got beat by his teammate. But right now, he's been very solid. Hopefully, Jeff can maintain that. We'll see what he does at the end of the day.
Mike, what do you got on that 31?
Well, you know, Nicole, I spoke with him during driver introductions this afternoon. He was pretty upbeat, optimistic, thought he had a pretty good race car. But early on in the race, and you can take a real close look at that left rear quarter panel, pretty torn up, got involved in an early incident. The team went to work, and they've salvaged a pretty good race car. They're running close to the top 10 right now. At lap 268, not too long ago, he radioed in saying this is the best the car has been all day.
Well, that's Jeff Burton currently running in 12th. 308 laps in of this 500-lap race. It is Jeff Gordon out front with Denny Hamlin in 2nd. Jimmy Johnson is in 3rd. The guy who came into the day as the points leader, Carl Edwards, the 99 car, about to go a lap down another time. Time to go NASCAR Nonstop. You won't miss a thing when we go to break. It's NASCAR Nonstop presented by AT&T as we roll on from Martinsville. Chase race number 7.
If you're
you're gonna build a fuel-efficient car, the first thing you gotta do is make a car that's worth building, that has all the luxury you'd expect. Then you put in an 8-speed transmission that gets 31 miles per gallon. That combination of luxury and efficiency only comes from one place in the world. Now lease the all-new 2011 Chrysler 300 for $339 a month for well-qualified lessees.
When's the MRI? She's got something better.
See anything, Doc?
I see everything.
We'll put in a backup. We don't have a backup!
You don't need one.
Now hard to reach is never out of reach. The next generation Craftsman Auto Hammer. A new articulating head. Superior access. Only Sears has over 25 Next-Tech tools now all on sale. Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
I just read that people who own iPhones have the most sex.
1 in 5 relationships now begin on an online dating site.
I have the droid. Awkward.
Match.com. More dates, more relationships, and more marriages than any other site. Start for free today.
What makes us #1 in motorcycle insurance? We love bikes. We love riders. And most of all, we love to ride.
Perfect hair every time.
Leading the pack in motorcycle insurance. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Witnessing the sheer spectacle of NASCAR inspired Neil and his friends to share their passion for speed and power. One customized ringtone at a time. Now each call reminds them that if everything was more like NASCAR, everything would be more awesome.
For the lead at Martinsville Speedway, Denny Hamlin running Jeff Gordon down in traffic. Now trying to find a little free racetrack to find a way around.
Denny Hamlin does such a great job at this track of not abusing his car on these restarts and things, really keeping it and coming on strong as others start to slip a little bit off the corner, Andy. He's still going strong.
I think it's the way he uses the brakes. You know, this is one of those tracks that you're just on the brakes so much. And the way he does it is he's able to get off of the brake pedal and let his car roll. And he gets his car to do what he wants it to do. And, you're right. It all starts with the driver to get the car like you want it. But this car really hooked up today.
And through. New leader Denny Hamlin in the 11. You know, it's funny you talk about how much time you spend on the brakes. Tim Brewer was gathering some data for us for his use this weekend, but passed it around to all of us, the folks at Brembo, one of the brake suppliers to these teams. You're on the brakes for 35% of a lap at Martinsville?
Yeah, and that's with good tires. I think when the cars start going off, you may even spend a little more time. It's just, trying the minimum speed and the maximum speed are so much different here.
I think Denny may be off less if that's kind of an average of what people do, because I think he might not be that much. Really gets the most out of his car rolling through the center, Dave.
Talking to Mike Ford, the crew chief, this morning. By the way, who has to make a couple of final pit calls here this afternoon. This is a difficult place to run your strategy. But Mike told me, he said, you don't see our strong suit in practice. And that was again the case this weekend. You see it with 30-lap tires. We might not be the fastest at the start, but it holds on. And he used the word nicely. And it's holding on nicely right now, Jamie.
Well, we heard Alan Gustafson when we talked to him on the crew box, on the pit box. He told us Jeff struggles to know exactly what he needs for his car at the end of the run. Well, they've been adjusting on the car because it was getting tighter. Now, all of a sudden, 10 laps ago, Jeff Gordon said, I am too loose on entry, I'm too loose on exit. And that, of course, is when he got passed.
All right, Jamie, thanks. So Gordon back to second spot now. He's led 85 laps in this race so far. David Gilliland on pit road. Remember, he took a wave around before, so he didn't get the caution he needed to stay on the lead lap. Talk about braking and driver technique at this difficult little bullring racetrack. Clint Boyer, kind enough to let us put the foot cam in his car and watch him work the pedals here at Martinsville.
And you said it right, Alan. It is work. You see how far up off the corner onto the straightaway he gets before he can go full throttle. Just kind of working it off the corner. Now he's wide open. So he gives that brake pedal just a tap or two before he gets to the corner just to make sure that it's up.
Yeah, you like to know that it's there, and if you have to pump it just a little bit, you can do that.
Boyer lost a little track position under that last caution, had a speeding penalty on pit road, set him back a little bit.
You see that 58 miles an hour minimum speed, that's what it is going through the corner. It's all the way up in the almost 120 miles an hour on the straightaway. That's why the brakes take such abuse. I mean, they do this, 1,000 times during this race.
3,500-pound race car you're trying to slow down. That's a heavy vehicle.
With about 900 horsepower.
And I don't care how good a shape a driver's in. When you leave here, you wake up tomorrow morning, your left leg, the muscles in it are extremely sore. You'll feel like that you just encountered the biggest workout you've ever done.
Because you did it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And your leg isn't like straight out. You kind of got it in that position to push the pedal, so I would say so. So a little ride around Martinsville with Clint Boyer working hard in that 33 car. Boyer running in the 19th position in the 33 car, while Denny Hamlin in that 11 is out in front, moving away from Jeff Gordon just a little bit. There's the gap to Gordon. And then that's a second from Hamlin back to Gordon, and now another second from Gordon back to Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. Update on the 5-time champ from Mike.
Well, Alan, as we heard a couple of weeks ago, Jimmy may not necessarily think Jack Knaus is a good cheerleader, but he knows he's a pretty good coach and is willing to take direction.
Did a really good job, but you are still way faster than these guys rolling through the center. You get all the way to there, and then it just stops. What do you want me to do now? Doing a good job. I'm just saying maybe you can back up your entry a little bit. Get tighter. Want to go back to the gas and show the nose and front throttle. That's fine.
And Johnson has taken that advice. Chad came over the radio not too long ago saying that was a really good lap. Johnson's only concern was he feels like he might be getting the brakes a little bit hot getting into the corner so hard.
Yeah, some of this what we talked about early, when we started the show, is how the crew chief can see the car real well on the short track, and he can help give a little bit of that feedback back to the driver when he compares what he's doing to what other cars are doing.
Yeah, you could probably overlay if we had Denny Hamlin and Jeff Gordon, their style a little bit. But Jimmy Johnson would be outside the box some. He drives the car in harder. He gets it to the point that he needs to carry the speed and then point it in the right direction. And that's why he can't back the corner up as well, because this is what works for him. Been very successful with it.
So Jimmy, the 5-time champ, starting today's race with a deficit to try and work out of if he's going to keep that streak rolling. 50 points back, 50 positions back. He's got some good tracks for him coming up if he's going to have a shot at it. Former winner at Texas, 3-time winner at Phoenix. Homestead, well, he's never really had the race for the win there much before in those past championship years. Time to go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T.
Sunday NFL Countdown, now at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
Walking my way, it's just how I want to do it. Changing up my mind, it's just how we're gonna do it.
Turn your world upside down with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide, because you can shave against the grain with comfort. Fusion Pro Glide's microcomb guides hair for its thinner blades to cut close effortlessly. Get against the grain closeness comfortably with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
This guy's into camping. What about that guy?
Oh, yeah. I could definitely go for some serious romance.
Okay? You're so beautiful.
Oh, my back!
Maybe just a movie date would be nice. Yeah.
Zoosk, the online dating site that lets you date your way, whether you want to browse, flirt, or find your soulmate. Zoosk.com.
20 pages. Boom! The other Office devices, they don't get me. They're all like,
hey brother, doesn't it bother you that no one notices you? And I'm like, doesn't it bother you? You're not reliable? And they say, shut up. And I'm like, you shut up. In business, it's all about reliability. Because these guys aren't just hitting print, they're hitting dream. So that's what I do. I print dreams, baby. Big dreams.
The markets never stop moving. Of course, neither do I.
Solution? TD Ameritrade Mobile.
I can enter trades on the run.
Even futures and Forex.
Complex options, done.
The market shifts, I get an alert. Thank you.
Live streaming audio.
Advanced charts.
Look at that. All right here. Wherever here happens to be.
Mobile trading from TD Ameritrade. #1 in online equity trades.
Trade commission free for 30 days. Plus, get up to $500 when you open an account.
This year, Dale Jr. would do anything to win. He'd get LASIK surgery, even though he already has 20/20 vision.
Let's do this.
If it would help him win, he'd do it.
Watching Denny Hamlin lead with 158 laps to go here in Martinsville today. Later on tonight, the Big O Tires NHRA Nationals from the Strip in Vegas, the drag strip in Vegas. 7 Eastern Time, ESPN2. NASCAR Now tonight, our post-race wrap-up, 10 Eastern Time. The NASCAR Now Monday Roundtable discussing all of the issues and events from today's race and the weekend in general. 2:30 Eastern Time on Monday. And then next weekend, it's on to Texas. Nationwide Series back in action Saturday, noon Eastern, ESPN2. And the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ESPN Sunday at 2 Eastern in Race 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Denny Hamlin has opened that gap on Jeff Gordon. That is 1.098 seconds, and there is Jimmy Johnson, 48 car, those neon yellow numbers. Also in the picture, Jimmy, the third place car, closing in on his teammate for that runner-up spot. This race had a crazy beginning to it. We had 8 caution flags before this race was 200 laps old. Now we've kind of settled in where we've just had the one yellow in this last little while of the race. Does anyone here feel like the aggression has eased, or are we just in kind of a pause?
Oh, kind of, yeah, kind of a pause. Yeah, if we get another caution to bunch them up, then we're going to see it ramp up once again, because it's going to be getting time to start maneuvering yourself to try to get the best finish or the win.
We generally see here a series of cautions late in the race where the field gets bunched up once and then the bumpers start to bounce. We'll see if that pattern continues today. 18 and 17, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, 4th and 5th positions. Note Kurt Busch has gone a lap down in that 22 car. Kurt running in 20th spot. David Ruderman, Clint Boyer, Paul Menard also overtaken by the leader and put a lap down. Tell you what, solid job by Matt Kenseth and the 17 team here today.
Yeah, I think we have to look now. If he can finish this off today, that obviously he's going to be the points leader probably if he goes on with this. But, you know, the favorite as far as the championship, because the mile and a half he's been really strong at.
And the guy he's chasing, Kyle Busch, Dave.
Gallant to watch the 18 car today, because in the spring when they led 151 laps but finished 3rd, the problem was that they had a long run car and they couldn't do much with the short run. You mentioned it earlier, a 20 lap run at the end was their downfall. Today it seems kind of the opposite, and right now as the run gets longer and longer, Kyle's saying his car is tight in the center, tight up off the corner. It doesn't seem to be good, as good at the end of these runs.
So Kyle hoping those bumpers begin to bounce and we get a series of cautions at the end of this one. Make a little use of that short run car. And Kenseth going to slide underneath Kyle and pick up that number 4 spot. Nice job, Matt. I saw Carl Edwards getting lapped a little while ago. Here is Tony Stewart about to go a lap down to Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, they adjusted on this car. The last caution that we had, and put a spring rubber in the right rear and raised the track bar. Helped it a lot. As a matter of fact, I mean, he's up 16th, but Denny Hamlin's just running so good right now that he's put a lot of good cars a lap down, and now it's like Tony Stewart is the next victim.
He was squeezing there, wasn't he?
You could see Tony gave Wasn't giving Denny any extra room right there. He's doing all that he can to slow this progress down to Denny Hamlin, but he may be able to hold him back for a few laps, and Denny might run out of pace. You see just how, when Denny has to, he can drive this car down into the corner, but it's not his normal way of making time during every lap.
And that's how he's able to do that, because he doesn't overheat the brakes. He's got a lot of reserve there, so when he does need to charge the corner to get position on somebody, he's got it to do.
Tony fighting hard, though, and what he's able to do when he keeps Denny down there, where Denny's been wide around that strip right there, that rubber buildup, Denny's having to kind of run his right sides through that, and it's making it difficult.
Yeah, he's been straddling that. I watched Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin straddle that, where you see that rubber buildup through both corners. Not able to do that, like you said, underneath Tony.
Tony knows if he can get Denny blocked in behind the 5 and the 31 that they're coming up on here, that he might have a chance here still.
Well, which way's the 5 going to go? Up to the outside in front of Stewart. Now back down to the inside.
Well, that 14's closer to a teammate.
9 car.
To the 5.
Oh, now what?
Well, you may have to punt somebody right here.
Kind of like that?
Yep.
Looks like you sound like you've done this before.
Well, I've watched these guys. I know.
Yeah. What was the conversation? I can't remember if it was Dale Earnhardt or not. It sounds like something he'd say. You bump him, let him know you're there. You nudge him to let him know you're faster. And then if he still doesn't give you a little room, going around. Goodbye. All right, there's the bump.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin tried to put a lap on Tony Stewart with still 142 laps to go. We go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T.
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Do you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. Get it faster with 4G. AT&T.
Oh, those were the best of days. I still feel the summer rays that graced our back since we went down the lane.
When your car is more than just a car to you, the right insurance matters. Are you getting the coverage options you need and the discounts you deserve? For an agent or quote, call 800-MY-COVERAGE or visit travelers.com.
I love this card. With the Bank Americard Cash Rewards credit card,
We earn more cash back for the things we buy most.
that's 1% cash back everywhere, every time.
2% on groceries.
3% on gas, automatic. No hoops to jump through.
That's 1% cash back on Oscar.
Tony.
Oscar.
2% back on whatever she'll eat. 3% back on filling up this baby.
Now get 1, 2, 3% cash back.
It's that simple.
Apply online or at a Bank of America near you.
We're talking 3% back on gas.
Is that raw chicken?
Yeah.
What's that dripping from that air conditioner?
Cool it?
What's that smell?
Is that the time?
Please, please.
It is. Everything seems tip-top to me. I will see you next year.
Hey fans, customize my gear, only at the NASCAR.com Superstore.
As you saw, caution out, David Gilliland with troubles. In turn 1, the leaders all on pit road with 137 laps to go. Mike?
Chakanowski asking Jimmy Johnson what he needs. He said, the same adjustments you made last time, just a little one. They'll go to work on the chassis, a wedge adjustment there, a 4-tire change on the 48 car just to free it up a little. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon, bottom left, saying it's just not turning well. It's sliding the nose. They're going to make a wedge adjustment. They brought the air pressures down 4 tires, Doc.
Upper right, Matt Kansas said the longer we run, the better it is. Loose early, tight middle, then it gets really neutral and runs well. Jimmy Finnick said leave it alone, 4 tires only. Dave. Leader Denny Hamlin on your lower right. He needs a track bar adjustment and a little air pressure adjustment. Just a little help to get off the corner. Could have used a little help getting off of pit road, and he got it. He will stay out front, guys.
There is Coca-Cola race off pit road. Denny Hamlin stays out in front of this field. Jeff Gordon giving up second to Jimmy Johnson. We go NASCAR nonstop, presented by AT&T. And a lap away from the restart here at Martinsville with 133 laps to go. A couple of stories to tidy up. Brad Keselowski going to be in the outside of the third row for the restart in the 2. Remember that race he won at Bristol and the discussion of the timing lines and how he maximized his space in the timing lines on pit road? Watch what he's doing today here at Martinsville. It might look familiar.
Yeah, he's just inside of a timing line, so he can race all the way to the exit of pit road before he starts his next timing line. He's gained a few spots today doing that.
Beat the 31. Nice job, guys.
So the
Nice job.
2-car up to the 6th position by working the speed trap to his benefit. So Denny Hamlin with Jimmy Johnson outside of him, Jeff Gordon behind him, then Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski. Jeff Gordon lost the spot to Jimmy Johnson on the pit lane, but gained that inside line for the restart. We'll see if that works out to his advantage.
Yeah, it could be beneficial for him to be down on that inside. Jimmy's making it tough, though. I'm thinking we might see Jimmy fall back in line here, though. If not, he might take a chance of losing that spot to the 18.
Well, he's got a chance to right now. He's got it.
So they sorted out up front. Top 5, now top 6 single file. It's Keselowski in the 2 that's caught in that outside lane. Montoya goes by him in the 42. 43, Allmendinger not going to let Keselowski get that inside lane back.
Great run for AJ today, along with Montoya up there in the 42s. We've got a battle for the lead now.
Jeff Gordon, big run to the inside of Denny Hamlin. Not with us earlier, Gordon's car battered in a wreck at lap number 7. Hamlin also sitting sideways, facing the wrong way on the racetrack, back at lap number 7. Hamlin went all the way back to 30th place at the time. Gordon went back to 34th. There's Kyle Busch looking for a little running room on Jimmy Johnson for 3rd.
But they may have made a pretty good adjustment here for Kyle Busch in this 18. He'd been off the last 2 runs a little bit.
Now, where Denny Hamlin is concerned, just in front of him, remember last time, he gave up a spot on the restart, and then as the run went on, gained that spot back and a couple of more. So we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, I'll assure you Denny Hamlin's not really worried about this race right now, as far as not being the leader of the race. He'll regain that, he firmly believes, as they get probably 40 to 50 laps on the tires.
Just remember in that radio we heard from Hamlin earlier about it's just a matter of time. Wonder if that's what he's thinking now. Kyle Busch, Dave, running 3rd.
Well, I was thinking of the teammates there. Yes, it is a matter of time. Remember that 11 car is a long run car. That 18 car has been more of a short run car today. And so where Kyle liked it best was about 2 runs ago. In fact, he said to crew chief Dave Rogers, let's go back 2 runs. So they went back on a couple of adjustments, added some more to try to free up Kyle's car just a little bit. And as we noted before, it is best right now.
All right, well, Kyle hoping for the caution pattern from early in the race to revive itself, where we had yellow after yellow after yellow.
Yeah, I think Jeff Gordon is too. His car seems to be really good in these short runs. And I don't mean real short. He's pretty good the first half of these green flag runs. It was just at the end of that where Denny Hamlin was able to pass him in the second half.
Just a follow-up on that Brad Keselowski thing we showed you just before the restart, with him maximizing the timing lines on pit road, and some numbers to go with it. Among the drivers competing for the championship, spots gained on pit road today, guess who's at the top of the list?
Well, since our camera's on that 2 car, I'm gonna guess that's the answer.
You think that's where I was leading you, huh?
12 spots. Wow, that's a good job by crew and driver.
Yep. And back to the race for 3rd. Jimmy Johnson, 48, trying to get a spot on Kyle Busch in the 18. sure what to make of this 48 car in this stage of the race. We heard Mike's reports on him a couple of times, and, you know, he's there, second, third, fourth, third, second, but he's not up there leading laps or knocking on the bumper of the race leader. Even when he was second to Jeff Gordon, he was a second behind Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I think they've been solid. They've had to make some adjustments. They can't get exactly what Jimmy's looking for in this car to get out and lead laps like we are accustomed to seeing. But he's got some pretty tough company right there. I mean, these other drivers are all very successful here, too, even though Kyle Busch doesn't have the wins like these guys do. But the last probably 3 or 4 races, Kyle Busch has had himself right up in the mix every single race.
Third and fourth, the last 2 races here. That's being in position to contend for the win.
His car looks better this run, though. You can see right now, looking inside of Kyle Busch, they made an adjustment on that last stop. They said they weren't going to make a big adjustment, but they did free it up a little bit more. Sun's going down, track's getting a little cooler.
And a little more rubber built up on it.
And it's getting time to win.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that is when Jimmy checks his watch and turns it on.
Well, Jimmy squeezed up in front of Kyle Busch. Little wave there. And Johnson to third. Behind Denny Hamlin and Jeff Gordon. Gordon out in front with 117 laps to go. We go NASCAR nonstop, presented by AT&T.
Picking the right car insurance is easy. You start with 2 identical cars with the same coverage. One through Progressive, the other through 21st Century. Both cars are covered, so both cars get repaired. But drivers who switch to 21st save an average of $535 a year. Call 888-GET-2121. 21st Century Insurance. The same great coverage for less.
That's it, Kyle. Let's go home. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Available 268 horsepower, class-leading MPG, and intuitive mobile technology. Introducing the reinvented 2012 Toyota Camry. It's ready. Are you?
He was totally unstoppable.
Drugs were maintenance. They were so he could function.
I dreamed about this when I was a little kid.
It was this kind of secret life.
What if I told you he lived the dream and the nightmare? ESPN Films presents Unguarded, directed by Jonathan Hawk, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN, brought to you by Buick.
Hey fans, customize my gear.
My gear.
My gear. My gear. Only at the NASCAR.com Superstore.
The Master of Martinsville, Jeff Gordon, the 7-time winner, today going over 3,000 laps led at this racetrack. Out in front of today's event with now 109 laps to go. Another Martinsville Master, actually 2 more Martinsville Masters right behind him.
Maybe even 3. You got Kyle behind them.
Well, top 3 have accounted for a lot of wins here. Let's see. Gordon's got 7. Denny Hamlin's got 4. Jimmy Johnson's got 6.
17.
That's 17 by my addition, and I even carried the 1.
So you win a couple, you don't even get included.
Now, while Matt Kenseth runs in 5th position, Carl Edwards is back in 20th. Championship picture as you look, with still those 108 laps to go. It's big. Now, before the last caution, Tony Stewart racing all he could against Denny Hamlin to stay in front of him. Well, the caution came out. It kept Stewart on the lead lap.
Yeah, that was a stellar run right there. I'm telling you, he did such a great job to keep that 11 behind him, and he really dug deep to keep his team in this championship hunt.
We'll have to see how this run continues, but he's actually passed some cars here that had driven away from him in the previous run. So I don't know what kind of adjustment they made, but it looks like it's working right now for this 14 to Tony Stewart.
And again, up to 13th position for Smoke. Getting closer up front. Denny Hamlin closing in on Jeff Gordon. There's third and fourth, Johnson and Kyle Busch. Matt Kenseth running in fifth. And Doc, some curious radio conversation a minute ago.
Yeah, Alan, hard to believe that a full contact physical short track race might just come down to fuel mileage again. Listen in to Jimmy Finnick and Matt Kenseth.
Just keep helping the best you can with that fuel, man.
Okay, it's hard to do too much here except idle around, but I'll try.
Yeah, I just looking if it stayed green, if we could make it.
Now the conversation after that went like this. Jimmy Finnick said, if you get what you got 2 runs ago, we're a couple of laps short. If you get what you got on fuel mileage this last run, we're right on the number, and we should make it. Now my question is, as you saw a moment ago, if he runs the way he's running, he can leave here as the points leader.
Well, Doc, not going to have to probably worry about that because the caution is out and the picture changes. Constant adjustment by the crew chief. Jeff Burton turned around, running 14th at the time. He, 2 laps before, had a big wiggle up off turn number 2. And then had the spin down in turns 1 and 2.
See that left rear tire? Looks like he's had some contact with somebody.
Now pit stops for the leaders. Going to take that fuel to the finish out of question. Question is, who gets the lead off the pit stops? Mike?
Johnson hits his marks. The team goes to work on the right side. A track bar adjustment as they complete their service there. A 4-tire stop once again for the 48. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon saying it was an improvement after the changes last stop. Just 4 tires and fuel for the 24. Doc?
17 car Matt Kenseth, just put 4 tires, fill it up with Sunoco fuel, and otherwise don't touch it. The car is that good. Dang.
Denny Hamlin was asked how the chassis was. He says it's fine. 4 tires and fuel is the call. He said, let's get it. He's going to be beat off pit road by a few cars may have taken only 2 tires, Alan.
Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, and more. Well, you weren't on pit road all that long ago, so you didn't need the full tank of fuel as far as the time to fill it all. Ooh, how about that? A little chain reaction.
Yep.
So let's see. Was that Ryan Newman was the cue ball, and Kurt Busch was the other ball that you hit the combination into
in the corner pocket.
2 balls, but he hit him.
Jeff Burton ended up in the pocket. NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T. Back live, Martinsville Speedway. Getting set to see some wave arounds. Get sent past the pace car to get back onto the lead lap in this race after the latest round of pit stop that saw some strategy played by some of the front runners. Kevin Harvick is the new leader of the race. 29 car getting off the pit lane ahead of Jeff Gordon. Here come the wave arounds. Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Regan Smith, Casey Mears, David Ruderman. Those cars getting back onto the lead lap except for... No, Smith does get back on the lead lap. So Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart, 2 cars in that inside lane for the restart. Left side tires only on their pit stops. It's not what we're used to seeing for a 2-tire change.
No, those left sides seem to be wearing a lot this weekend. And we saw Kevin Harvick change just less early in the race, and it seemed to work then. We'll see now that the track rubber does. Jamie?
I'll tell you, it's strange to call a pit stop and say left sides only, but you guys are right. 29 took him, lap 31 pit stop, and it worked for him. The reason they said they took it this time is because there's nowhere on the rights, and we're going green now.
96 laps to go. Will the bumping and banking, will the intensity start to ratchet up here? Kyle Busch diving to the inside, turn 3. Matt Kenseth gives way. Beating and banging behind him 3 wide. That's Allmendinger got knocked around a little bit and has the smoke trailing from his car.
Does that answer your question about the beating and banging?
Yep. Bet it's not done yet.
No, I don't think so. Wow, that's unfortunate for A.J. Allmendinger. He had a great run all day. Now has some damage he's going to have to deal with.
And these guys that had been those fighting for the lead before the strategy play by Harvick and Stewart. Gordon, Hamlin, Johnson, Kyle Busch.
We were just talking about Tony Stewart fighting for his life, trying to hold Denny Hamlin back to get a good finish out of this. Here he is running second.
This is an incredible job that Tony's done today. They've got one around over in 3 and 4. He may get going again.
That's Hermie Sadler, 71 car.
No yellow just yet.
He's right in the middle of the racetrack.
Caution is out. You saw that black smoke shoot out of the exhaust pipes. Started it, stalled it, got it restarted again and spun it around. But by then the leaders were coming off too at speed, and NASCAR had no choice.
So now we'll get to do this again.
Yellow number 12. Clint Boyer, free pass on the last caution. Back on the lead lap. Free pass on this caution. Guess who?
Another break for the 99.
Carl Edwards. How about that? So Carl will come back around onto the lead lap in 23rd position, and all of those guys who took the wave around are going to get to come in and top off the fuel and get fresh tires. Regan Smith, Mark Martin, Joey Logano.
Wow.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
In fact, that was a little payback. And Hermie had to pay the price.
Time to go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by AT&T. Down to the late stages at Martinsville in the Tums Fast Relief 500. Restart with 88 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, 29. Tony Stewart, 14. 23 cars on the lead lap. Let's see who's the first to get bumped around. How about Brad Keselowski in the 2?
Yeah, he bumped the 18, who jumped down in a hole right in front of him. Oh, 42 into the 88.
Tony Stewart trying to get that lead in that outside lane.
He got it the last lap at the line.
Not enough to clear Harvick, though.
Pretty amazing the adjustment they've made. It's some contact.
No trouble. Greg Biffle is spun around. And the caution's out.
Got left rear spoiler damage here.
That's a pretty big damage. Caution number.
Sorry, guys.
13.
I think we might be all right.
Greg running 14th at the time. Of course, these things don't happen without a cause. That's the effect. The intensity ratcheting up in the pack here. I was starting to call up front. It looked like Harvick had gotten into Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon was getting ready to go 3 wide, but then this happened behind him.
Yeah, it looked like Biffle just got in a little bit hot, couldn't turn down, got into the side of Ryan Newman, and basically took himself out then and trying to stay off anymore. Maybe wheel hops a little here.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it.
Big
rear.
See that left rear tire jumping off the ground.
Tony Stewart on pit road, giving up second spot.
Yeah, that might have been that contact you were talking about right there.
No fuel. No fuel.
Left front. Low or this
Yeah, it looks like the left side tire might be down.
So, Tony Stewart giving up second, Doc.
And they said to go ahead and put on 4 tires. He had a vibration. Remember, last time in, he took on left sides only, but he had to run really, really hard and try to get around the 29 car on the restart on the outside. He thought he had a tire going down. Wasn't sure which one. They're going to go ahead and put all 4 on. And after an incredible comeback, now the unscheduled stop and Stewart is down and away.
Well, that's going to cost him a lot of track position.
Something don't feel right. Track bar don't look good from in here. lifting the right front corner up.
All right, so let's go back and look at what happened. Tony Stewart racing Kevin Harvick for the lead. Jeff Gordon closing in on them. And watch this.
They have some more contact right here.
Right there. Yeah.
That's wheel-to-wheel contact. That's why they were looking at that track bar, because it's one thing they could have bent in that little exchange.
How about the 29 car, Jamie?
And Dale Martin here, you just saw the replay. Has Kevin said anything about his car? Any damage?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we've got any damage. I mean, we had to do a little something strategy there with the Budweiser Chevrolet. I mean, our car's been about a 8th, 9th place car all day long, and that's just not going to quite get it. So we'll see if this thing turns into a wreck fest here in the last 80 laps and turn this thing into a top 5 finish.
29 may have been on the safe side, Doc.
Yeah, Tony Stewart thought he had a flat tire. They came in either a tire or possibly with contact. Maybe he had cut a valve stem off. All 4 tires were up. They look okay. Wheels look fine. Nothing was loose. But they put 4 on. So that pit stop there are the 4 tires that just came off Tony. Now he's got a long way to go, guys.
Doc, thanks. And from that contact between Stewart and Kevin Harvick, just notice the lettering on the sidewall of the right front of Kevin Harvick's car is all rubbed away. So, restart, 81 laps to go. As Gil Martin said, is it going to become a wreck fest? Greg Biffle's damaged car.
That's going to really shuffle these leaders up now, having a lap car get in the mix this early.
Biffle after the crash, 2 laps down, 26th place. Joey Logano, free pass at the last caution. Back onto the lead lap, 23rd spot after a very tough day for that 20 car.
One thing this is going to do with Biffle down there is going to give the outside lane maybe a little advantage here where the inside lane's had it before.
Or put somebody on the outside at risk here as they try to go around Biffle and make it 3 wide in the corner or something.
Like right here.
Yeah, or put Biffle at risk if somebody just decides he's in the way. Bang, crunch, bounce. Oh, 3 wide there. Vickers on the outside.
Well, he almost got spun there.
I think that's a good call, Greg. Go to the back of that line.
Nowhere to hide, though, really.
Yep. So Harvick has gotten away into the lead. A little contact there. Jeff Burton, it looks like. Maybe getting a nudge. Remember, some of these guys like Kurt Busch, they were a lap down, took a wave around a little while ago, came down pit road, are on slightly fresher tires than the race leaders, and they're desperate to make up some ground.
Could play out for a big advantage for some of those drivers that have been struggling all day. Took that risk that they took with the wave around and then got a nice break. So see if they can parlay that into something really good.
Burton running well earlier when he got spun around in turns 1 and 2. Trying to make a rally in that 31 car. He's up to 14th. How about Kurt Busch, Dave?
Well, there have been times today, Alan, when he's been complaining about the car, but he's been as fast as the leaders. And other times, whoa, Menard into him in the side there, Alan. But lately, it's just been a little bit tight. They got it better on the last run. And, of course, as you said, the wave around worked.
Is this one going to boil?
All around now.
Caution.
A lot of smoke. Nobody can tell where he's sitting.
Paul Menard, Kurt Busch, 27 and 22. And there was the bump. Then there was the nudge.
And then there was
the spin. Well, that's not good.
No, he ripped the right side off of his car. Paul Menard has.
You think Robin Pemberton at the drivers' meeting might have reminded these guys that it still is boys have at it?
He may have. Because they're still having at it.
Now, here it is.
don't think that was intentional. Menard was just trying to complete the pass there.
What do you think Kirk thinks?
I guarantee what he thinks. And it's probably not kind. Just one prominent lead lap car, not to the discredit of anyone else, but the championship leader who just got a free pass a little while ago, one of the few lead lap cars to come onto the pit lane here. 30-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit. Carl crosses that speed zone and can give that gas a little burst down to his pit stall. Dave?
The championship leader coming into today, that will be a track bar adjustment. You saw the wrench in the rear window. His car has still tight. They wanted to raise the track bar a little bit to try to help him turn through the center of the corner.
Well, he's going to have fresher tires than a lot of these guys in front of him. I don't know. You've been in position of racing for one of these championships before, Dale, but if it's me and I'm Carl Edwards and I get to the last stages of a Martinsville race like this that's had as many incidents and you can feel the temper starting to boil, I'm kind of concerned.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big concern. That's what you're thinking. You keep putting yourself in the middle of all of this, and he's been dodging a lot, though.
Well, why don't we ask him if he's concerned? Carl, our in-race reporter today, and it's been kind of a busy day. We haven't had a chance to talk to him yet.
Hey, Carl, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, looking from our vantage point, you've had quite the interesting day out there, young man.
Yeah, interesting is that's an understatement. You know, last week we were trying to ride around the back. This week we're not, so a lot more work. Let's hope that we can get a lucky break here. We've just made a pretty big adjustment on the car, and hopefully we can get back up there and race.
Hey, Carl, what are you adjusting for? What's your car not doing that you needed to?
Won't turn. Earlier we struggled with too loose, and now it won't turn. But Bob's made some good adjustments here, so we'll keep marching. We don't ever quit.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good run.
Championship leader Carl Edwards showing in 18th position at the moment, with still a lot of racing and potentially a lot of chaos in front of him left to go. Mark Martin free pass on this caution. Took a wave around at 399, was 2 laps down. Took the free pass here. Mark's back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's got his bumper flapping in the wind there, but good to go.
So 1 to go is the signal. Kevin Harvick out in front. Took just left side tires on his last pit stop to gain some track position. Jeff Gordon running second. Been one of the stronger cars all day. He was way in the back after a lap 7 crash. Jimmy Johnson running very well in this race, not able to muscle his way to the lead for any extended period of time. Denny Hamlin, the most recent dominant driver at this racetrack. He's had a good car on the longer runs. This series of cautions we've had have kept him from showing that strength in recent moments. You've got Kyle Busch, led more laps today than anyone else. He's running 5th in that 18 car. And Brad Keselowski as low as 28th in this field. Another remarkable recovery for the young man who still remains in the hunt for this championship. Matt Kenseth in position to take over the championship lead. He runs in 7th spot, 68 laps to go. How's it going to play out?
I don't know, but somebody back in the back there is going to get a penalty. They were 3 wide on the restart. 99 was up on the outside. He's the one I saw make it 3 wide. We'll have to see what NASCAR says about that.
He's going to get a penalty. Carl Edwards is going to get a penalty.
Yeah, I don't know if he was just trying to get in his spot or what. There was looked like a little confusion. He went up on the outside, made it 3 wide to come to the green.
One's supposed to let you in. Green flag, green flag, green flag. Just 2 wide inside.
All right, so.
Looking in the middle, 31, you're 3.
Let's explain. NASCAR can be giving instructions to where you're supposed to be on the restart, but all that's supposed to be done by the time you get to turn 3. I am told that NASCAR has taken another look at the situation. Carl dropped back where he was supposed to be, and they're going to pull that penalty call down from the board and call Carl okay.
Yeah, they're checking on it. They told us to pull up. I don't know what the result is yet.
Yeah, it looked like some confusion as they were coming to the green.
if he was instructed to get in front of the 31, that's one thing. So Edwards for now.
We're fine. Just keep racing. They pulled the black flag back in, so Bob's working on it.
There you go. Edwards for now, good to go, and running in 19th spot. Up front, Jimmy Johnson all over the bumper of Kevin Harvick for the race lead. And a nudge. Can he get inside? He does, door to door. Harvick's got a choice here. Does he hang to the outside of Johnson, or can he shut the door before Jeff Gordon gets onto his inside? He's not going to have that choice.
Yeah, he might have to wait for 2 or 3 more passes.
48.
I think this is where these guys with 4 tires, and we're getting down almost 60 laps to go here, they knew it was time to get by Kevin Harvick and settle this amongst himself.
Denny Hamlin through, Kyle Busch through. Now Kevin Harvick back to that inside line, but he goes from 1st to 5th. And maybe more. Here's Brad Keselowski.
Oh, what a great run this has been for Brad Keselowski as he tries to march his way up into the top 5 now.
And Keselowski through Harvick. Brad to 5th, Kevin back to 6th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. by Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, that was a real battle. Junior locked the front tires up going into turn 3 a minute ago. Almost got into the side of Matt Kenseth. Did a good job staying off and then took the spot away.
So Jimmy Johnson out in front. Remember back in 2007, won 4 races in a row en route to the championship. Just when you want to count that 48 car out, he shows that maybe that's not a wise thing to do. Mike?
No, guys, you know, Jimmy commented on the situation they were in before the race. He said, we're not a team that will lay down. We will not quit. We will fight for every race win from here on out. Obviously, he's showing that he's true to his word. Spoke with him earlier today. I got a sense of optimism. I asked him, is this as good a car as you ever had here? He said yes.
He's up front now, Mike, as we get to the closing laps of this one. Are we going to get to the end without another caution and another restart? I doubt it. We had a good shot for a caution just a second ago.
Yeah, they're still trying their hardest to get one.
A.J. Allmendinger got knocked up out of the groove in turn 3. He was 15th at the time. He has kept going, but he's back in 23rd spot. Here's what happened.
You can see he gets in and just gets in way too hard and pushes A.J. He's trying to stay off of him, but just too much speed there.
Regan Smith in the 78. So again, Allmendinger 15th to 23rd in that exchange. Ken Schrader 32 is a couple of laps down there in 25th place.
Schrader's done a nice job here today, though. Not racing a lot in the Cup Series, but nice run.
And not an easy track. 3rd, 4th, 5th, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski. Does Denny Hamlin get the long run that he needs at the end of this race? Hasn't had it lately.
He just about have to have this race go green to have a long enough run for his car to come around. Here comes Tony now with his 4 new tires. It's like he's already rubbed the letters off the right front of that set.
Remember, he pitted from 2nd a little while ago, went back to 23rd. Got a few spots on this last caution when some other people pitted, and he didn't. But Stewart now up to 10th place and trying to roll.
Yeah, Keselowski's working hard on the back bumper of Kyle Busch. I don't know if he's using up too much of his car. You can see him smoke the tires.
Yeah, he slid that left front up. He slid that left front really bad getting in the corner that time. Better hope he didn't flat spot it.
Last couple of corners. He did that going into turn 3 as well. And given where you are in the championship, that may be the time you talked about earlier. The crew chief watching the whole racetrack from the pit box. That may be the time to pass that message and say, okay.
Yeah, we still got 50 laps to go. I would just tell him just to kind of cool it there. Just ride right behind that 18. If your car's better, you'll end up getting by.
Matt Kenseth, 17. Slipping back a little bit. He's back to 8th spot.
Ron Vickers up here battling. He hit everything in the first 50 laps except the pace car, and here he is up in the top 10.
Never give up. They're long races. A lot of action still to go. We'll continue to watch it in the final 49 laps at Martinsville as we go NASCAR nonstop, presented by AT&T.
Wow, what's that?
Oh, it's the new AT&T smartphone.
Nice. I wish I could afford one.
Yeah, I got a good deal.
Look at that screen. Fast too, right?
Oh, yeah. Last week, FITD.
It streams movies. Turn left now. Look at this camera. Hold on. Let's get a photo.
I'm listening to downloaded music.
Oh, I can afford that. See ya.
The AT&T Impulse 4G. For $29.99, there's no excuse not to get your own. AT&T. These drivers demand the most from their tires. They choose Goodyear. And everything we've learned making these tires inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven.
One of the benefits of being a Bank of America customer is we're almost everywhere.
Thousands of banking centers.
And so many ATMs.
All over the place.
This technology is very cool. Deposit your checks right here and get the check images on your receipt. No deposit slips, no envelopes.
We have banking apps for mobile phones.
And now the iPad. I could transfer money to my mom just like that. It's pretty amazing.
Don't forget online banking.
It's super highly really cool.
Secure access to your money anytime, anywhere with Bank of America. Download our app for your smartphone or iPad at bankofamerica.com.
Now you can know your home inside and out. Introducing My Lowe's, a revolutionary new way to keep track of, organize, and manage your entire home. Go to Lowe's.com to register and learn more. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Televised in 175 countries. Broadcast in 24 languages. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship ends in Miami. And you can be there. Get fired up. The world is watching. Sunday, November 20th at Homestead Miami Speedway. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship Ford 400. Tickets start at $55 and they're going fast. Call 866-409-RACE or homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Count him out now.
Jimmy Johnson does not pit. Almost all the other front runners do. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon, one of those, saying the car was getting better. They still wanted to bring him in for a track bar adjustment. They work on the right side of the car. He said it's getting to where they want it to be as they go around. They're going to take 4 tires for Jeff Gordon. Doc.
Big break for Brad Kay. He had abused that left front tire coming in. They will put 4 tires on his Dodge. Dave.
Hamlin gives up 3rd place. 4 tires go on the car, and they will make a track bar adjustment for a race car that was loose.
And some more strategy being played as well. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart going to be the first 2 off the pit lane. Our Coca-Cola race off pit road. Mark Martin as well.
Don't forget Stewart just put tires on not too long ago.
Well, Martinsville's a tight little racetrack. Things can get a little tight on pit road as well.
A little 3 wide action here as they try to exit. That's not good for your fender or the right front tire.
Or the left rear for Harmon.
And Matt Kenseth involved in what brought us to the caution flag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're hard to drive like that.
Holy cow. You see how high the back of that car came up?
And then he had the brakes on so hard the wheels were hopping.
Yeah, they had battled for probably 6 or 8 laps.
Looked like a fairly clean pass that Vickers had made on him.
Yellow's out.
That
Yellow.
was a race for 8th place. And if you're Matt Kenseth, you're involved in this championship, you got a lot to lose if this 83 car tends to come back out onto the racetrack and exact a little bit of revenge. So a lot going on, a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue as we get to the final laps at Martinsville.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Martinsville is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win one-of-a-kind NASCAR VIP experiences. And Ford. Drive one.
Half a lap to go. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton, David Ruderman, and Dale, those three did not pit. Here's the 40H radio.
Well, the whole field came. You tell me when I'm alongside the commitment line, so I can't do anything at that point. It's so late, and I didn't want that call. Blew another win this year.
We'll see.
It's a tough spot to be in. You're the leader. You don't know what people are going to do behind you. You hope they'll kind of take the lead from what you do.
And your best bet right now.
Oh, Tony locked it up.
Your best bet right now, if you're Jimmy, is to run and hide while these guys with fresher tires are trying to make their way through this traffic.
Tony Stewart's on a mission, though. I can tell you that. He battled hard earlier, if you remember, just staying on the lead lap with Denny Hamlin leading. Now he sees the opportunity to win.
31 Burton, 00 Ruderman did not hit.
Trouble. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth around.
There
and so is the 18. Montoya's involved.
Bigger story, 17 car, Matt Kenseth. Second in the championship, up against the wall.
With
Big
a lot
damage.
of damage. Looks like they can get it fixed and get him back out there, though, without losing too much. Oh, nope, take that back. Looks like he's broken the track bar.
Oh, boy.
He'll be making a trip to the garage.
Right front out of the lead. Corner there, you guys come down and then pop the right front going into 3.
All right.
You can see how that rear end's going back and forth. They're going to have to go back to the garage and replace that, or at least behind the wall.
Well, track bars broke off the thing.
Watch Kenseth and watch Kyle Busch.
See, Matt's already locking it up, getting into the corner. He'd gotten in too hard. See the smoke.
They said on that little bit of radio, we just heard him say, I thought I heard him say the right front was down when he went into the corner, or went down when he hit the brakes.
See a lot of shake right before that.
Now what? Oh man, spinner.
Well, Kyle Busch with some damage to be attended to by his team. Kyle's 6th in the championship coming in.
The more laps we click off, I think it kind of plays a little bit into Jimmy Johnson's
Don't need to
favor.
lose a lap, guys. Jake, put those lugs on. We might have to go back out. Where it's the pace car, Eddie.
At the line, gotta go.
Tighten it up. Tighten the lugs. We're going to lose a lap. Just stay here. Just stay. Keep working on it. Keep working. Hey,
Well, guys, as he heads off of pit road, the main thing that they were trying to work on was obviously the front end. Kyle called the car killed. Dave Rogers said that, and they did not get all those lug nuts tight, Alan.
Yep.
Problems worsened.
Looks like they got none of them tight.
That is the left front from the 18 car. That's what Dave Rogers was saying, get those lugs on.
Yeah, we're just trying to save a lap and kind of change their plan in the middle of the pit stop.
We're going to lose a lap. We're going to have to lose a lap.
And the farther he rides around the racetrack on that.
Yeah, that's hard on that suspension. Be lucky if they don't have to take it behind the wall and fix some of that. See, putting lug nuts on the left side, you have a guy picking them up off the ground, and there's some confusion. The guy on the left front didn't know whether to take them off or put them on, and didn't get any of them tight. If he just got one lug nut tight, it would have been enough to come back around. And there she goes.
Really, the one would have held that wheel
Yeah,
on?
oh yeah, one would have held it, at least for a lap.
Yeah, under that, going at that speed.
With no load on it.
Boy, what a bad couple of weeks for Kyle Busch to just 2 times last week, running along and finding traffic, and then right there, no fault of his own.
And so while Kyle comes back around to have that car reattended to, Matt Kenseth has taken his car to the garage area. There's the 17. Doc?
Well, you saw the track bar was broken. The left rear caliper is broken. They're going to cap off the brake line there. They're going to get the porta power to the left front to be able to cut some of the suspension away, try to get some wheel clearance. They realize that a possible championship is easing away here. They're talking about what else they got to do in the front of the car, and obviously a lot of time back here in the garage area trying to repair this battered Ford for Matt Kenseth.
So Matt Kenseth, who's run up in the top 5 for most of this race, now shows back in 25th place and dropping. And that, a critical moment in this championship.
You see now why they call this track one of the wild card tracks. It's just anything can happen. And we still have 32 laps to go, so there's time for a lot more to happen.
And back to the incident with Brian Vickers, right? You stop and think, okay, well, did some contact that happened there cause something like that? Well, they had another pit stop, right? Fresh tires on the car. So I'm wondering if something happened after that restart, some contact in traffic or something that might have gotten a fender in on that right front tire or something and caused that crash.
Yeah, could have very well done that, but running into the back of the 83 could have certainly pushed that back enough that would have created that.
Well, here's one other possibility is his brake pedal could. This is we're late in the race, 460 laps in. Could have been having some brake issues and all in that tight traffic. If that pedal goes to the floor, we saw with the 33 car and that in-car camera how you tap that brake to make sure it's there. That thing could have gone to the floor on Matt, and that's exactly what would have happened if that was the case. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that can happen here.
So Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Burton, the guys in the top 2 spots here, after not pitting under the last caution. Tony Stewart first with some fresh tires, up to 3rd here. How about the thoughts on this 31 and their status right now, Mike?
We're about to find out, talking with Jeff Burton's crew chief Luke Lambert. Just a handful of laps here before the checkers fly. It's been an interesting day for you. Some guys behind you on fresh tires. What do you expect to happen?
Well, it's all going to depend on how this restart goes. That's going to be the most important thing. Being on the bottom is really important here, so hopefully we can get a good restart, get to the bottom soon, and make stuff happen here.
Alan, this morning Luke told me the key was to keep the nose clean on this race car. Early on it got damaged, but they've rallied from behind and got this thing in contention to win.
It's beaten, it's battered, but it's still going. And Jeff Burton 2nd for the restart when they double them up. A lot of things that will catch a driver's attention as he gets ready to go racing, particularly depending on which lane he ends up being in for the restart.
Yeah, and Jimmy Johnson's going to have his choice, and that's been the inside lane, but there's a lot of oil entering what was oil. They put Speedy Dry down on it, but that's still going to be extremely slick, so what do you choose now?
Well, where I see that streak, he could start on the inside and maybe straddle that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty accurate with it, though, wouldn't he?
Some of that's that streak of rubber there as well. It's been worked into the racetrack through the course of this race. Wow. A lot to think about. 29 to go. Carl Edwards, championship leader starting the day, is in 13th spot, DJ.
Hey, Carl, Dale Jarrett again. You got us?
Gotcha, Dale.
Well, this championship deal keeps changing by the second, but you got yourself in a pretty good position now.
Better knock on some wood, buddy. Don't jinx me now. We just got to make it to the end of this thing. Our car is a lot better balanced right now. So, if I can just get a good restart, stay out of trouble, and maybe pick off a couple spots, this is going to be a good day. But still got a lot left to go.
Okay, good luck, and I found some wood to knock on here for you. You're good to go.
In-race reporter today, Carl Edwards. Double it up for the restart. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton, 48-31. David Ruderman, 0-0. On older tires, then Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Brad Keselowski, and the others chasing him. It's gotten wild here in the late going.
Yeah. Ruderman up there battling for a win. We saw him sideways down in turns 1 and 2 earlier in the day. See what he's got left here at the end.
Restart's going to be with 27 laps to go. What's going to happen now? Johnson clear of Burton. Here comes Tony Stewart inside of Burton for second. 14 car through to the number 2 spot. Jeff Gordon under David Ruderman. Brad Keselowski with a nudge on the 00. And a car spinning around. Ryan Newman. No caution. Yes, caution.
22 got us there.
Number 17. Yellow flag number 17.
Wow. What's the record?
I believe it's 21.
We still got time.
Yep.
See Kurt Busch just getting sideways there, down into the corner, bounced up into Ryan Newman. We had seen that earlier where it was a little reversed whenever Newman bounced into the 22, who then
hit somebody else.
Yeah,
It's been so many, I can't remember.
Yeah, losing track now.
That's why I got all these pieces of paper flying around all over here. I got to write some of this stuff down.
Yeah, look at all the pages you got.
I'm telling you. Then I got to try and read my own writing later. Second consecutive caution that Greg Biffle will get the free pass that puts him back on the lead lap.
Wow, with that damaged car. That was the 31, by the way, that got hit in that three-way exchange. I do remember it now. There, Jeff Burton is battling for the win.
Well, Tony Stewart, they've used a little strategy. They've used a little determination, Doc. They're in second.
Yeah, how about that 3 times, Darian? You guys have been outside the top 20 and have fought your way back now. He's on 2 fresh left side tires. Does he have enough car and tires to handle that, to be able to get by the 48?
I really think so. Tony's been doing a great job. It's been frustrating Nate falling back and having to come back forward, but he's done an awesome job with Alphonse Depot, Mobile 1 Chevy, and we'll see what he's got here.
All right, Darian Grubb from nearby Floyd, Virginia. He is the pride of Floyd, hoping to be able to get maybe a top 5 finish for his driver today. Jamie.
Well, Gil Martin for Kevin Harvick called it. He said it's going to be a wreck fest here toward the end, and it is. Based on who you guys are racing around, no tires, 2 tires, what do you think you have here in the end?
Well, I don't know. It's so hard to tell what's going to happen right here because everybody's driving way over their head, and there's a lot of stuff going to happen. I just hope our Budweiser Chevrolet comes out of this somewhat unscathed anyway.
You told me this was going to be a wild card. How stressed are you as a crew chief right now?
Well, I mean, it's really stressful right now. I feel like you're eating razor blades right now. I'm sure everybody does because it's just it's going to come down to this last lap and everybody's going to beat and bang. So it won't surprise me if they come over the line upside down.
Oh, geez. You heard it from Gil. Alan?
Jeff Gordon kind of more sarcastically expressing the same emotion a second ago.
It's good to see that everybody still hates everybody out there, you know? You guys all talk all nice about each other, say all the right things, but I beg to differ after watching today. You ain't seen nothing yet, big boy.
22 to go. Tony Stewart trying to get clear of Jeff Burton for second spot. Stewart wheeling that 14, saw those busy hands off turn 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. up into third. Brad Keselowski with a little protected move. Joey Logano has come all the way back through this field in that 20 car. He is racing for a top 10 spot.
Clint Boyer sliding the tires.
Yeah. How about Burton? He's been a long time since Jeff Burton won. He's hungry. Came close last weekend.
He gets clear of Tony Stewart.
Wow.
Tums Jr.
Speaking of long time since he won. So close here in April, Dale Jr. was.
It's a little frustrating for Jeff Gordon. He's the first car that's got 4 tires. Well, I take that back. I believe it's the 88 car now.
Junior, yep. Junior got by him there on that break.
Jimmy Johnson out there on those tires, though. Looked like he was going to be a sitting duck when they stayed out. A little miscommunication. Left him out there in much older tires.
Well, Montoya's hood flew up, had to come to pit road. I don't know if he could see or not. There it is. It'd be difficult to drive that car.
Yeah, it looked like some of the others have been driving like that some of the day.
Hamlin, Harvick, Keselowski.
Hamlin might even have a left rear going. I don't know. Those tires are slow anyway, but you can see a little scuff mark on it.
All the paint rubbed off the sidewall of him.
I'm not sure that he didn't have a little damage there.
That's for 7th and 8th place there, the 2 and the 11.
David Rudeman had trouble off of turn 4 there. Lost quite a few spots.
So down to 17 laps to go in what has been just a slugfest at Martinsville today. Big championship implications. Matt Kenseth is in the garage for the moment. Carl Edwards, actually Matt's just coming back out of the garage onto the racetrack. Carl Edwards has come back from a lap down to be running 10th right now. The race for the win, Jimmy Johnson slightly ahead of Jeff Burton. Jeff Gordon has been one of the dominant drivers on the day. He's had trouble shaking free of traffic in this run of the race. Right now he sits in 4th.
Well, if Carl Edwards pulls this off here, we're talking about, I believe it was back at Kansas where he pulled a rabbit out of his hat, but this would be quite amazing. See, as he tries to go for that championship. See Denny Hamlin trying to get that spot back from Brad Keselowski, not able to do it.
And Montoya back on the racetrack minus his hood. There is Carl Edwards running in 10th.
Oh, that's how Rudeman got out of the groove there.
Coming through. Pardon me. Time to go. And Hamlin clears Keselowski. That's for 7th place. Denny, one of the stronger cars over a long run in this race. Shuffled back by strategy, and then all these frequent caution flags have kept him from having a go here at the end. Kevin Harvick trying to rally. Remember, went from 1st to 5th earlier when he got locked up on that outside lane after a restart. Now around Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get back to 5th place.
No mercy on the guy in front of me. No mercy.
Dale Jr.
He hadn't shown much all day.
2nd place. Stewart inside of Burton.
This could be big for Jeff Gordon's chances if he can get by Jeff Burton at the same time and then get a hold of Tony.
And they're both through. They got some ground to make up to catch Jimmy Johnson. They don't have a lot of laps to do it. I'm not sure that Johnson's going to catch any lap traffic between now and the finish either. I don't think so.
Yeah, good chance of that, but I'm not sure that we've seen our last spin either.
Yeah, got a point there.
Yeah, the fastest car on the track is Denny Hamlin, but he's not going to have enough time because it's only 10 laps to go, and he just made that pass for 6th spot. Here comes Gordon.
2nd place. Nope, little slip there.
We saw Tony Stewart earlier in the day be able to hold off Denny Hamlin, so he's willing to give Gordon that inside a little bit. Gets a nice run on the exit of the corner.
Harvick trying to move forward. After that slip back. Caution. Trouble turn 4. Brian Vickers is around. Yellow number 18. So much for Jimmy Johnson's gap.
I think Brian's been involved about half of those.
He's certainly been his fair share of them here today. This is going to be interesting now.
Which part? Just the restart and the racing?
Yeah, this is going to put Jeff Gordon on the inside of the 2nd row. It might be a good spot for him with his 4 fresh tires.
Oh my. That's what that was. Matt Kenseth had just come back on the racetrack.
I think he might have done this Red Bull Toyota in now.
We're done.
Yep, there's your answer. He's caved that front end so bad now, I think the radiator's toast.
And Kenseth, by the way, 23 laps down in 31st place. After the race for 9th and 10th gone wrong a little while ago. 8th, 9th, and 10th, excuse me. This was the race for position I was alluding to. Brian Vickers had raced Matt hard for several laps. And then Matt said, I didn't like that.
No.
Season highs.
Wow, 106 laps of caution.
Yeah. What was it you said at the very top of the race portion of our telecast today, Dale? You thought patience would be in shorter supply even than usual?
Yeah. And
Did you see this coming?
They far exceeded my expectations. I can honestly say that.
5 laps to go in the race. How many laps of racing are there going to be left? Jamie?
Well, Jeff Gordon's led 113 laps today. He's going to line up on the inside. Third, how do you like your chances?
I mean, it's going to be tough, but we got to do it. We're in position to do it. We've got the car to do it, got the driver to do it. This is what it's all about, making it happen. So, Jeff's going to get it done.
I know we've seen a lot of cautions today. How happy were you to see that caution?
That's the only one I wanted right there.
He's a happy man right now, Alan Gustafson. Alan?
Well, they've gotten a shot. The yellow are racing Jimmy Johnson's lead of about a second. And they're going to get the one-to-go signal here, which means we're going to see the green with 3 laps to go.
I don't know if that's enough time, but he definitely has better tires. Gordon does.
So the key for him here, he's got to stick to the inside and force Tony Stewart wide, right?
Yeah, and then does he use up the back bumper of his teammate, Jimmy Johnson?
I say yes.
I say absolutely, probably.
Interesting.
Yeah, we saw the truck race yesterday. The same thing kind of happened. The guy in third place kind of snuck by 2 guys up front racing each other side by side and moved up the track and left an opening.
That guy was Denny Hamlin. He's on the outside of that third row.
Might be too far back to make it up in 3 laps.
I can remember a race here in Martinsville when 2 of the sport's best went into turn 3 on the last lap, tangled and took each other out, and the guy in third won the race.
Yeah, don't count out Kevin Harvick there in fourth either.
3 to go. Oh, Junior. Nudged around. He and Logano tangled up.
Keselowski goes around.
Around here. No caution. Keep rolling. Come on. No caution. Need to roll here.
And Stewart trying to get around Jimmy Johnson.
He's got him cleared off 4.
To the lead. Tony Stewart, 2 laps to go. Do they get to the white flag without another yellow? Can Johnson get the Stewart's back bumper? Here they come.
Joey Logano into the wall.
Car in the wall, turn 3.
White flag's out, though.
Logano still driving around. We are on the last lap. Stewart, Johnson, Gordon. Will there be a bump and run? He's going to try it. Johnson gets there, but not enough. Tony Stewart wins at Martinsville. Clint Boyer spinning around in the final corner. Just shy of the finish. How about Tony Stewart, who's run
It's a flag, man.
so poorly at this racetrack the last couple of races? They got the up front starting spot when qualifying was rained out. They got shuffled back. They used strategy to get back to the front, and a timely win in his bid for the championship.
I've seen some gutsy runs, but that one right there, they dug deep. This whole team did. Tony, by staying on the lead lap when they were trying to lap him, coming around here and working on this car. This is incredible. Nothing feels better than a win like this.
No, you were talking about them running poorly. Recently, they ran poorly in the middle of this race. Almost getting lapped and then fought back, made some changes. Here they are.
How about our Goodyear winning moment from Tony Stewart?
We gave these fans their money's worth today.
Well, Floyd, Virginia, not that far from here, Doc. This has got to be a huge win for Darian Grubb.
All 432 people who live in Floyd, Virginia, got to be partying right now. Congratulations. What was the key to this remarkable comeback today, Darian?
Just an awesome team and just won't give up. Got a great bunch of guys and did an awesome job.
Incredible. You could hear the emotion in his voice. Even he can't believe, given how poorly they've run here in the last year and a half. Mike?
Catching up with Jimmy Johnson, brings it home second, but I know you wanted so much more. Take me through that restart.
Yeah, I just didn't get away from him on the restart, and he hung on awfully strong on the outside, and I was more worried about clipping a curb and he was running me tight and not taking him out of a championship situation, trying to mind my P's and Q's, and just wanted to do the right thing. Unfortunately, got beat in the process. Thought about going in there and leaning on him, moving him up, but it's just not the right thing to do. But I just wish that prior to that, the 83 was a part of every caution here in the final 3 or 4. I wish that he could have just driven around the racetrack and we could have won this thing, but whatever. We'll move on.
A key moment was the last round of pit stops. You did not come down pit road. How critical was that?
It certainly gave us the track position we needed, and the 24 got to third, I guess. So it really ended up being the right call. Chad was really nervous the way things unfolded. Felt like it might cost us a shot at the win, but man, it put us right in the catbird seat to win the race, and I just didn't. Last restart, Tony did a great job, and I didn't get it done.
Alan, coming into the weekend, Jimmy Johnson said he would not lay down. He proved that today.
All right, so Jimmy Johnson has to settle for second place today, and from here in Martinsville, we look ahead briefly to the final 3 races of the season. Got a lot more to talk about this one here in a second, but we look ahead. Texas Motor Speedway, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami, the final 3 races for this championship. Tickets available, all the telecasts on ESPN. Join us at the track if you can. There's going to be some good racing here in these final few weeks of the season. Stories to tie up from that wild finish of the race. Brad Keselowski running 8th, got spun around in the late laps. Let's see if we can tell what happened. He finished 17th.
And all kinds of things happening there. It was Junior getting into the 11 of Denny Hamlin, who was bounced up into the 2. We saw those 3-way contacts quite a bit, especially entering on the restarts. Big loss for Brad, though.
That's what happened to Brad, and again, he finished in 17th spot. Jeff Gordon finished 3rd. Jamie?
Well, a lot happened to him today, and it started early. You dropped back to 41st. You raced your way up, led 113 laps. How would you assess today in the racing?
That was crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. Yeah, I hate we got caught up in that incident early with my teammate Dale Jr. Looked like he got the curb, and I chose to go high, and I should have gone low. But great effort by this drive-in Hunger Chevrolet. I mean, they fixed the nose. I was more worried about our brake duct overheating the right front, and I beat it up. I mean, I ran it hard to get to get back up there, and it held up. So I'm pretty happy with that. The last 2 runs, I don't know if they're just adjustments we made or what. We just kind of lost the edge that we had at one time, especially on the short run. So I really didn't have much for those guys there at the end, and we needed more green flag runs than we did. So, hey, 3rd, great, and, so close to win 200 for Rick Hendrick. I thought Jimmy had it there for a second, but great effort by Tony Stewart. When things get tough, you got to watch out for that guy, and he really put one on him. I didn't think he could pass Jimmy on the outside.
Congratulations to you. 650th start. He brings it home 3rd. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. Brad Keselowski, Ryan Newman, a lot of disappointed drivers after the end of this one, walking away from their cars. Championship standings. At the end of the day, Carl Edwards, with his 9th place finish, is going to come out at 8 points ahead of Tony Stewart as we head to the final 3 races. Kevin Harvick gaining a little bit of ground today. Matt Kenseth losing a chunk as a result of his 31st place finish. We head to Napa Victory Circle, where Tony Stewart is celebrating his 3rd win in the chase. Doc?
And what a celebration. What a remarkable effort today. What a remarkable 3 different times. This guy came from outside the top 20 and drove it back into the top 5. But let's start talking about that last lap pass on the outside of Jimmy Johnson. How'd you pull that off?
I don't know, because I don't think anybody's ever passed Jimmy Johnson on the outside. So just determination. I mean, I don't think we had the best race car today by any means, but we had the most determined pit crew to get it as good as they could get it, and I was pretty mad all day. So I was the only guy I think that didn't get in a wreck with somebody, so I was kind of proud of that. But just this Office Depot Mobile and Chevy and Hendrick Engines and Chassis and Darian Grubb and all these guys at Stewart-Haas Racing, just an awesome group of people.
What's going through your mind on that final restart? You know you're going to have to restart on the outside where there hadn't been a whole lot of grip up there for much of the day.
Yeah, I really, to be honest, wasn't excited about restarting second. I'd rather restart at third, but, Jeff got to us, and I hit the curb off of 4 before the restart, and Jeff got underneath us going into 1. I ran that second lane and pulled 2 car links on him, so it was like, wow, it's got a little more grip than I think it had up there, and the key was just getting into 1 beside him and not letting him run up the racetrack like he did Jeff Burton and just holding him tight and letting myself have the opportunity to at least get through there.
I know you want to celebrate, but I want to tell you, you're 8 points back of Carl Edwards with 3 to go, man. That we have a championship battle in the making.
He better be worried. That's all I got to say. He ain't going to have an easy 3 weeks.
How about that for a warning from Tony Stewart?
Wow.
Nicole?
Laying down the challenge. What's even more amazing is when you think of this, Tony Stewart at lap 360 was almost going to go a lap down when the caution came out at the completion of lap 500. He is in victory lane. Motorsports calendar, it's the Big O NHRA Nationals tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Immediately followed by NASCAR Now at 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. I wonder what they'll talk about. Roundtable of that show, 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, with a recap of the entire weekend. And of course, next weekend, the Nationwide Series returns, and we head to Texas. Join us at noon Eastern on ESPN2 for the Nationwide Series, and we are back at 2 Eastern on ESPN for the Sprint Cup Series race at Texas. We knew it was going to be a good one. Did we think it was going to be this good?
Tony Stewart told me earlier this week, Wednesday, that if he can come to Martinsville, get a good top 15 finish, he can win this championship. Well, guess what? Game on. Here comes smoke.
Lots more to come. If you want more post-race coverage, stay exactly where you are. Post-race coverage coming up on SportsCenter. Once again, congratulations to Tony Stewart, his 3rd win of the season. He is now 8 points out of the lead for this championship. We'll see you next week.